Okay, now I want to do this video real quick because I know a lot of people are gonna watch my video. That's fine. But the thing is, I want to have this video put on YouTube because I was got to watching North Carolina versus Georgetown 1982 national championship. Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Patrick Ewing, a lot of other players on that team. Stan Perkins, James Worthy, Sleepy Floyd. There's a lot of good players on that team. D. Smith, coaching. We. This is the thing I want to say about Michael Jeffrey Jordan. He's the undisputed GOAT. Now, I know a lot of kids or a lot of young guys never seen Michael Jordan play or they were younger when Jordan was playing. Now, when Jordan came into the league, I was about, let's say, he came in the league in 85. So I was about 8. And seeing Michael Jordan coming into the pros, it was something different. It was just like you had like a famous artist come out, like a singer back in that time, and you can't wait to hear their new outlet, their first album. It was just like that. Like when Michael Jordan came into the league, he just blew up after he came from the Olympics, winning a gold medal. He came into the league and he just did what he did. He dominated. And I know a lot of people didn't expect Jordan to come into the league to play like he did. A lot of people thinking he was going to be, one of them guards that come in the league 1 year, shine, probably become rookie of the year, and then he'll fall off. But the man did this for 13 years. That's the crazy part. And nobody talks about this. A lot of people always want to compare him between Michael Jordan and LeBron, which I think that's the most ridiculous comparison. I believe if you really want to compare, LeBron is the Magic Johnson. 6'8", forward, whatever you want to call him, because, you know, uh, uh, Magic Johnson was a 6'9" point guard. He played point guard in college. He played point guard in high school, and he played point guard in pros. And he also played center when Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got hurt, and he played center, and he dominated the 76ers by himself and got the MVP, the only rookie in NBA history to get an MVP in the finals. And the funny thing about it is, right, this man named Michael Jeffrey Jordan, a lot of people today don't like and don't know nothing about because the only thing they watch is like 5-minute clips of him. And then they try to say that, well, Jordan can't do this or do that. I'm like, well, if you wasn't raised in the 90s, like I was, to see Michael Jordan play, I was born in the 70s and I grew up in the 80s, but I was an adult in the 90s. So from the 90s on down to him winning the 6 championships, I seen them all. And I see what Jordan had done through his whole career. So people can't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Because I see Michael Jordan play his whole career. And I watched LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Iverson, all of them play through their whole career. And one man did it better. It was Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Which a lot of people will say, well, Jordan didn't do this, Jordan can't do this. I was like, how can people say he can't play left-handed? Go and watch his videos. He got videos on YouTube. If you go watch him play left-handed, a whole 15-minute video about him playing basketball left-handed. But to tell me that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan because he has longevity, it's like ridiculous because Jordan really honestly did so much in college, which people forgot he played college basketball for 3 years, for 4 years, really. Not 4 years, for 3 years. Then he came out early. Well, 3 years, my fault, 3 years, because he came out as a junior. Then he came into the NBA. Then he went to play for an Olympic team, which he won a gold medal over there. Plus, he played against the NBA greats and a little basketball tournament that they had for the Olympics because he won 2 gold medals. People forgot about that. He won 3 gold medals. So basically, he won 3 gold medals both as a young player. Then he won another gold medal in 92. See, people forgot all about that. Jordan didn't play with a lot of superstars when he won that first 2 gold medals. He won with the superstars of the NBA in 92. Because the thing I always try to think is that if LeBron James won 4 gold medals, he really didn't have a good record in the Olympics. And a lot of people know this, that he never had a good record in the Olympics. So you get 4 gold medals, you get a couple more gold medals than Jordan. What is that? What does that got to do with you winning titles in the NBA? Because the Olympics is always really got the women have the best team of all time. They have more wins than the men do in any sport, like NBA or anything. The women got more gold medals than any man sport winning championships. So think about that. For you to say LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, just think about how Michael Jordan became who he was from playing college basketball, being an All American, then coming into the NBA, winning a gold medal his first two couple of years. Then he became what he is now, as he's been retired for almost 20 something years, which people keep on trying their best to attack Michael Jordan. The man is like in his 60s, and they want to keep on attacking his numbers. They want to keep attacking him. Why? Why are y'all attacking him? The man has been retired for 20 years. He's not going to come back and play. The man can't barely walk. You know what I mean? He had knee surgery, he had hip surgery, he had meniscus surgery, he had shoulder surgery, he had all these surgeries. He still plays basketball, but he doesn't play basketball like he used to play basketball. Like people really want to jump on Michael, like Michael Jordan could come back and play against LeBron James, knowing LeBron James is almost 40 years old. I'm 48. You know what I mean? And for me to see LeBron play basketball at 40 is amazing, but I already seen a football player that played in the NFL until he was like 40 something years old. And he's almost the same age as me. And I'm talking about Tom Brady. And football is a much harder sport. Everybody says not, but quarterback is a much harder position to play than basketball. So Brady played in the league for a very long time, just like LeBron did. So you can't just say LeBron James did longevity. He's still playing now, but Brady played until he was 42 years old. So think about that. LeBron's not going to play that long. He's going to retire soon. And he might probably retire this year, after this year. If he doesn't make the finals or he gets put out of the playoffs, he's going to retire. And he's going to let his son come in and be, whatever they want his son to be. But for me to look at the NBA today and see how sloppy it is and how they're trying to still destroy the past basketball, which is the funniest thing because without past basketball, the NBA would not exist today, and the NBA would not have money that all these other players in the past brought in. Which they want to talk about the 60s, they want to talk about the 40s, they want to talk about how basketball was corny and slow, but that's their era. You can't change what they used to do. Or even in the 80s, and even the 70s, 80s, and 90s, they want to talk about basketball stunk. How basketball stink. If you wasn't even born to even see basketball in that era, how can you call it corny when you just watch it on YouTube? And you can't even really get a good feel of it on YouTube because you wasn't there at the games. If you went to the games and you watched the games in person to see Michael Jordan, because I seen Michael Jordan in person. I seen him play against the 76ers, and he played the way he did throughout his whole career. He did the same exact thing. They beat the crap out the Sixers. You know what I mean? Because I seen Michael Jordan for the first time, and I was so excited because the fucking stadium was packed just to see him. Just imagine this, right? People talk about LeBron James is a great basketball player. Why he don't sell out stadiums? Why is the stadiums and why is the finals not what it used to be? The finals used to be everything that everybody wanted to see. They had the Seattle Supersonics, they had the Bulls, they had the Jazz, they had all these great. Even if you can go back to Tim Duncan or even Lewinsky, you can even go back to Shaq and Kobe. Those stadiums sold out. Today's stadiums, they don't sell out. Finals are just the worst because the product has died or is dying because they're trying to find a way to find a new Michael Jordan. Now they're talking about Anthony Edwards, saying that he's the new Michael Jordan or he's the son of Michael Jordan, which they talk about. Who did they talk about before him? They talk about Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler. Oh, he is the next Michael Jordan. He looks just like Michael Jordan. He might be Michael Jordan's son. I don't get the NBA that they're trying to compare Jordan so much to all these other players. And Jordan been retired for 20 years. It doesn't make any sense to me. They're trying to say LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, but I'm trying to figure out how do you say he's better than Michael Jordan when they never played against each other? And they play two different positions. Jordan plays two guard. He played a little bit of point guard. Yes, he did. But he got changed over back to his old position. And he played small forward when he played for Washington. Everybody want to talk bad about his Washington years. Go ahead. Why would you care about Michael Jordan's Washington years when Michael Jordan really honestly played for fun? He didn't care about championships. Really, all the proceeds that he made went to the 9/11 victims' families. The money that he made, his checks. But people didn't know that. They don't talk about that. They don't say that on all these sports networks. They all say, well, Jordan came back for what? He didn't even want to win. He didn't care about a championship. He only played for fun because he got fired from his position as being vice president. He got fired, and that's when he got Kwame Brown. But he played with Kwame Brown, and honestly, Jordan really didn't care about winning a championship. He was like 40 something. He was 40 years old. He was old. He had meniscus surgery on his knee his first time playing with the Wizards. And the Wizards almost could have made the playoffs if Jordan never got hurt. The following year, Jordan played 82 games. And Jordan honestly made the All-Star game, won MVP of the All-Star game. I can go on and on and on. People hate the fact that Jordan played back and played. Because now they say, well, he destroyed his legacy with the Bulls. He never destroyed his legacy with the Bulls. Because the Bulls hasn't won anything ever since he retired. So just think about this, right? Everybody likes LeBron James because LeBron James is a big guy that can run up the court and dunk on you. But he's not LeBron James, when he was younger, of course, he was a young rookie. He reminded me of Sean Kemp a lot. That's why I say they should compare him to is Sean Kemp, not comparing him to Michael Jordan or Magic Johnson. Because LeBron reminded me a lot of Sean Kemp. And Sean Kemp did the same thing near the end of his career. He wasn't a great ball handler, which LeBron is not a great ball handler because LeBron really doesn't bring the ball up that much. If he's being guarded by somebody, he'll pass the ball off and he'll let somebody else bring the ball up. LeBron's not great in the post, and everybody knows he's not great in the post. He was never a great player in the post because he will never be in the post. Now he's starting to be in the post because they do a lot of switching. And LeBron will get a lot of smaller players on him, and he'll try to take advantage of those small players. But he doesn't really take advantage of them because he'll pass the ball to somebody else when he's in the post. He doesn't like playing against bigger guys because bigger guys take advantage of him. Now, a strong, big guy that has the body of a tank wouldn't mind being down there in the post. Why is LeBron not down there in the post all the time? He's a big man. He's not a point guard. A point guard is what Magic Johnson used to do because Magic Johnson will always know where his players are. He could pass the ball. Magic Johnson was that one that could pass the ball. Yes, LeBron could pass the ball, but it's not like LeBron is that point guard. He's not. Because a point guard brings the ball up. He brings the ball up all the time. He doesn't wait for somebody else to bring the ball up because he's getting defense on him. He's not. They even showed when Kobe played against them, and Kobe really actually kept bothering him when he brought the ball up in the All-Star game. People forgot about not even in the All-Star game, in a regular season game, it was LeBron James versus Kobe. Kobe guarded him 90 feet. And LeBron James could not get the ball down 90 feet. He lost the ball. And even he did that to Dwayne Wade when Dwayne Wade was trying to bring the ball up 90 feet. And he got Dwayne Wade to turn the ball over. See, the thing about it is when basketball back in the past, they used to call this thing called a trap. They don't do that no more. They don't trap no more because you know why they took the trap out? Because they want these point guards that really don't have really good ball handling to bring the ball up. Now, Kyrie Irving could have destroyed the trap because Kyrie Irving has a great ball handling. He's a great ball handler. But LeBron James is not a great ball handler. They took the trap away, so LeBron James won't get the ball stolen because he leads the league in turnovers all time with 55. So how is it that a man that turns the ball over more than any player in history, he has the more missed foul shots of all time? You know what I mean? He has the most missed shots of all time. So how is it? And he doesn't play any defense. Now, back in Miami days, of course, LeBron James was a beast on defense. But what happened to him from Miami, for him being in other teams? Why did he just stop playing defense? I don't know. Because you want to be better than Michael Jordan, you got to play both sides of the ball. And you can't play one side of the ball scoring points, and you don't play the other side of the ball. Because he never led the league in steals. He never led the league in rebounding. He never led the league in anything else except assists once. He led the league in scoring twice. He could have led the league in scoring 3 times, but Embiid took over that and won the scoring title. LeBron James is a great player to me. I think LeBron James, if he was still like in the younger years, I take that LeBron better than any of the other LeBrons because LeBron was attacking the basket. He was doing some crazy shit because he was showing how good he is. But when he started getting more money, he started getting more arrogant. He started saying, okay, I'm better than Michael Jordan. That's the thing you don't say. You don't say you're better than Michael Jordan. You just keep that to your fucking self. Stop saying that you're the GOAT because you're not the GOAT. You're not. Because it's out of 75 years of basketball, you can't call yourself something if you cannot compete against the other players of the past. Now, you can't do that. It's like me saying I'm better than somebody that that played in high school was better than when I was on a football team. I was playing safety. I'm better than the other safety that played before me, and I never played against him. I never even met him. But I can't say I see his pictures on the wall in my high school, but I don't know nothing about him, so I can't say I'm better than him. Why would I say I'm better than him and I never met him or I never played against him? You know what I mean? You can't do that. That's why Michael Jordan will always be the GOAT to people because Michael Jordan always been that person that was always consistent. He won 6 championships. He did. It's not just about the 6 championships. Michael Jordan did things. People say, "Well, he's 1-9," but if you watch them 1-9 games, you will believe that Jordan should have won all of them games because he was just the best player on the fucking floor. He was just the best. People went to see him. You don't understand. People, it could be Sixer fans, it could be Cavalier fans, it could be any fans. They say, "What you coming to see?" I'm seeing Michael Jordan. And they have the best players on the floor. And they went to see the Sonics, to see Sean Kemp. They went to see Gary Payton. They would have went to see all them great players, man. Or they went to see the Phoenix Suns with Charles Barkley and all of them on the team. Chambers and Kevin Johnson. They would have wanted to see Jordan. Like if they would have played against the Jazz. And they played against Karl Malone, they played against Stockton. They want to see Michael Jordan. They don't care about them. Yes, they want to see their team win a championship. Yes, they want to see them beat the Bulls. But when Jordan had that ball in their hand, all you hear is, ooh, ah. That's all you hear. That's what you hear. Everybody wanted to see him. And this is me telling these kids that are younger than me, like to say that they don't like the 90s because the 90s were slow and all. Of course the 90s was slow because they play defense. That's why you slow the game down on defense. They rebounded. They blocked shots. They didn't spread the floor to play to the three-point line. They didn't do that. But like I tell people, if you go to look at college basketball in the 80s, you will see they didn't have a three-point line. So basically, they didn't shoot threes. So that's the reason why when they came into the NBA, a lot of players didn't shoot threes because they didn't shoot threes in college because they didn't have a three-point line. They put the three-point line, I think, until the 90s. And they put it in the girls first, then they put it in the men's. But the men's really didn't want the three-point line. But they put the three-point line in, and they have a three-point line now to this very day because college basketball made it that the NBA said they should put the three-point line just like put the college NBA just like the NBA three-point line. Now you got the three-point line. Now you see all these players shooting threes. But they didn't shoot threes like that until they started seeing Reggie Miller, Dana Barrows, and many other basketball players that would shoot threes. But now, you got threes all over the fucking place because of Curry and Thompson and all of them shooting threes and Damian Lillard and all them shooting threes all the fucking time. Because the percentage now is higher than it was back then because people always thought that the NBA was slow because the NBA didn't have three-point shooters. Why do you need three-point shooters? I'm going to tell you something. Michael Jordan led the league in scoring with shooting twos. He led the league in shooting two-pointers. Two, not threes, two. He led the league in scoring 10 times shooting two-pointers. And you know how many three-pointers Jordan missed or shot? 10. 10 three-pointers. And Jordan probably shot a lot more, but he missed more than he made. But why did that matter? It didn't matter because Jordan still led the league in scoring 10 times shooting twos. What player in the NBA today leads the league in scoring shooting twos? None. The only player that did lead the league was Joel Embiid shooting twos. Joel Embiid. Because he's not even a three-point shooter. He's a post player, so he's always inside. But he's closer to the basket. So he led the league in scoring by shooting two-pointers and getting to the foul line. Jordan led the league in shooting twos. No player had a higher percentage than Michael Jordan, over 50%. No player in NBA history shooting jump shots. You got Curry that will go to the three-point line and run to it. He'll shoot some two-pointers, but he'll run to the three-point line. Because everybody said, well, that's a better shot. No, it's a worse shot to take a three-pointer because it's a higher percentage shot to miss. I mean, that's why they didn't shoot the shot back then, because it was a bad shot. Now it's a good shot to people that can't shoot, and it will shoot the three-pointers because they think they can make it. But you got a lot of bad shooters that shoot threes that don't want to shoot twos because they feel the two-pointer is not going to give them enough points to actually get that new check. So they'll shoot threes because they said the better shooters always will get biggest checks, right? Because you got Curry, you got all of them that make big shots like Durant. Durant shoots two, and he led the league in shooting 2-point shots. And Durant is a great all-around player. But the thing is, when they look at Durant, they don't like Durant because Durant is a shooter that's inside the paint. People don't like that. People like the players that shoot out. LeBron James is getting to that, shooting three-pointers. And he's one of the worst three-point percentage shooters in history. And he still doesn't care to shoot it. And people think it's a good shot because his name is LeBron James. If it was anybody else that was shooting that ball, people were like, why is he shooting? Because he takes bad shots. He's not a great shooter. He's a great passer. Like he reminded me of Magic. Magic wasn't a great shooter. He wasn't a great foul shooter, but he was a great passer. That's why I said everybody has to compare him to Magic, not to Jordan, because Jordan was a two guard. And two guards are supposed to take the shot. They're supposed to shoot. That's why they're called a two guard. The point guard brings the ball up. The two guard is called a slasher. He's supposed to shoot the damn basketball. He's not supposed to pass the basketball unless the person's open. If you know about basketball and your coaches teach you, the thing they'll tell you to a guard is to shoot the damn basketball. He doesn't tell a guard to sit there and pass the ball. If he's open, he shoots it. That's what a guard does. That's what a two guard slasher does. That's why you see in NBA 2K, it's called slasher. And these kids thinking, oh, Jordan never passed the ball. He didn't have to pass the basketball. He was a two guard. He didn't have to pass the ball to nobody. He could average 35 points a game if he wanted to. Because he is a point, he's a two guard. He's supposed to shoot the basketball. He's not supposed to pass it when he's open or when he's driving to the basket. He's not supposed to pass it. That's why I get confused when people talk about, oh, Jordan was a gun. He's supposed to be a gun. Kobe was supposed to be a gun. He's supposed to average over 40, average over or 20. That's your guard. That's your best player. Usually the guard is the best player. Your center sometimes will be a good player, but he'll get closer to the basket and take shorter percentage shots. Now you're going to pass the ball to a three-point shooter that can't shoot threes, which a lot of these players in the NBA cannot shoot threes. You only have certain players that are stars that actually can shoot threes. You have a lot of them that can't shoot. You have teams that run up and down the court, shoot bad shots every single time. And even in the finals. I remember I watched the Celtics and the Golden State Warriors. It was the worst finals in NBA history, man. It was the worst finals because the Celtics were only down by 2 fucking points. They shot threes through the whole game. From the first quarter to halftime, they shot threes being only down by 2. How? And then the Golden State just took over and blew them the fuck out because they kept shooting threes. They didn't try to drive in the basket. They didn't try to go to the basket to get any foul shots. They couldn't play. They couldn't slow their offense down by playing defense. They want to get the ball, and the Celtics had the best defense that year, and they still couldn't shoot the ball. How is it that you got some great shooters? They couldn't shoot and make the shot, but that's why they got beaten in the finals. I think they only won one game. So how can you sit there and tell me that the NBA is great today than it was in the past? Because defense wins you championships, not shooting. That's why these teams that go to the finals always win with defense. That's what they do. They win with defense. That's how you win. You don't win by scoring 60, 70, because you see all the finals, they're low scoring. People don't even watch the finals like that because they turn it off because it's not up by 60. Because the defenses play harder in the playoffs than they do in the regular season. That's why a lot of NBA players don't like the playoffs. Because they play 8, that's why they cut down the season to 55 games, because they know the defense will have to play more physical in the playoffs. So they say, you know what, we're going to shrink it down to like 60 games, 70 games, because we know when they get to the playoffs, they're going to be fucking tired. And when they get to the playoffs, they got to play more physical defense. And when they play physical defense in the playoffs, they're like, oh, where the foul call at, dog? They'll complain to the referees, tell the referees why not call foul, because it's the fucking playoffs. What do you think they're supposed to do? You think the referees are going to blow the whistle every single time you walk in the lane and you cry about a foul? No. That's why I said the NBA in the past, you don't see them players complain about fouls. They love being fouled. They love being knocked on the floor. They love going to the foul line because you slow the offense down when you play physical defense. They love, the referees don't like that, the fact that it's more physical now. It's less physical now than it was in the past, because physicality in basketball is so less in the NBA because they call whistles all the time. Every time they drive in the lane, they got a whistle. You see somebody complaining about a call. You see people going to the foul line. How the hell are you supposed to be a great three-point shooter, but you have one of the worst foul shooting percentages in the NBA? There's a lot of players in the NBA that can't shoot foul shots, but they'll shoot threes. How is that? And then you go back to the past. You got players that were great shooters, that were great foul shooters. How is it that it cracks me up? It cracks me up because the NBA never has changed from, okay, we know we're going to shrink this. We're going to shrink this three-point shooting, and we're going to play more physical. No, They don't want them to play physical. They want them to drive in the lane and get an easy ass basket. Because one time I seen LeBron James go in the lane one time, there was nobody there. I'm like, where the frick is the center? The center's on 3 point. The center's all the way over there near the 3 point line, guarding somebody. How is that basketball? The center should never leave the paint. The only reason why they put the 3-second defense in because of Shaq. Because Shaq was blocking everybody's fucking shot. That's why they put the 3-second defense. And they shorten it's wide in the lane because it's Wilt Chamberlain. Because Wilt Chamberlain was dominating in that short paint. Even though they got the paint widened, Shaq which they still dominate the paint. But they did so many rules to change to Charles Barkley 5-second back to the basket. Because they didn't like nobody having their back to the basket. They didn't like that, so they put the rule in for that. They put in so many rules because of Michael Jordan, Charles Barkley, and Shaq. That's crazy. These players dominated. Shaq dominated his era. And that's the reason why they put rules in it for like Wilt Chamberlain. They dominated. And they put a rule in also for Wilt because goaltending. And for Bill Russell, because Bill Russell used to goaltend. And then they did it in the college. They put a rule in for Patrick Ewing because Patrick Ewing was goaltending. He had one game in the North Carolina National Championship. That motherfucker had 6 goaltends. And he had 5 of them straight back to back to back to back. So they put the goaltending rule in more stricter for him. And now the NBA is so taking these rules away to make the game more softer. It's sad. The game should be more physical because basketball was created by physicality. Naismith created basketball to be physical. He didn't create basketball to be soft. They used to play basketball in a fucking cage. Now they playing basketball like it's ballerina. Put some dresses on like they do in the NFL. The game is not physical. They want to have these competitions, comparisons to other players. The Olympic game was the worst Olympic game I have ever seen because there was no physicality in that. How do you play in the Olympics? And they said the Olympics are the most physical, but you can't play physical because they wanted LeBron to win a championship, win a finals, to win an MVP that bad. Because even Durant even said the Olympics is very physical. Because when Durant was playing the year that I think after Kobe was still playing on the team, and even Kobe even said it. Kobe said he likes it because the Olympics is physical. He said the NBA is soft. Durant even said the NBA is soft. There's a lot of players that are playing in the NBA. It says the NBA is not what it is. That's why a lot of people that are young don't like the NBA of the past because they know how physical it was. Yeah, they were throwing each other on the floor. So the fuck what? Yeah, they were smacking each other in the face. So yeah, they were fighting. So that's basketball. You're gonna tell me you're gonna play hockey and you're gonna sit up there and you're not gonna have no fighting in hockey? So you will watch hockey and you'll say, well, I like this. They're not fighting. No, you want to see some fighting. Like football. What if they didn't tackle in football? What if they were playing flag football? You remember they were playing that? Remember they doing that in the Pro Bowl when they were up there not even tackling the motherfucking players? So you want the NFL to do that all the time? Not be physical. Now they play flag football in the Pro Bowl. They took away things that I used to watch back when I was watching basketball, when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, watching the physicality of basketball. You didn't care if the player got knocked on the floor. You didn't care because the player would pop back up. I remember, I forgot his freaking name. I'm going to look him up, and I'm going to do a video of him. It's a basketball player that played with a fucking we-call on his neck. You can look him up. He played with, we call that thing, a neck brace. I forgot his name. He got in a car accident. He came and played the next day with a neck brace on his neck. You can look him up. That's basketball. He played with a neck brace. He was an NBA player. And you got these kids don't want to play because they got a broken fucking nail. A messed up ankle, which the ankle's probably not even fucked up. LeBron had cramps for all his fucking career. He had an ankle injury for most of his career. Never had surgery on it for some freaking reason, but he's always lifting weights, which you're not supposed to lift weights when you have injured body parts. But he's in there doing this with a messed up ankle, which you're not supposed to be lifting weights. He's supposed to get surgery on that ankle. He never did. But everybody talk about he's in shape. Yeah, he's doing exercises on boats and all that kind of stuff. Who cares? Basketball is not all about strength. You could be the smallest player in the league, like Muggsy Bogues, playing in the era of physicality. And you have Spud Webb playing in the league of physicality. Iverson playing in the league of physicality, being 6'5", 5'11", taking punishment all the damn time going in the lane with Shaq, Ewing, all the motherfucking basketball players that are bigger than him. And he's averaging over 30 points a game. And it's still with the league that still had physical defense. Then they put in the zone because they had to put in the zone for Iverson because they couldn't stop Iverson playing when he was playing man, when they were trying to guard him man, so they put in the zone. What hurts me about people, they judge something that they've never seen in their life. They go on YouTube and they watch these 5-second video clips and thinking that's basketball. How can you say that you go out in the street and you play basketball against the old heads? The old heads are going to beat the crap out of you because you know why? They play physical. And a lot of these kids today don't like playing against old heads because they're physical. And some of these old heads can still play, even though they're in their 40s or probably in their 50s or even their 60s and 70s. They want to stay in one spot and shoot a jump shot and make it all the fucking time. And some of them old heads can still play in the box. Some of them old heads can still be physical. It's dudes that I know that I play against that are very physical. And you talk, and then you cry like a little bee, like a lot of these young boys do, because they don't like being touched. When you play basketball for some freaking reason, like they don't want to be touched. Like basketball is a physical sport. Just like you're playing football. You're not going to stand there and play on the field and thinking you're not going to get tackled. You're going to fucking tackle because you got the ball in your hand. Oh, I'm not getting tackled. Let's see, all these guys are to knock you the fuck out because you thinking, oh, the game is sweet. No, the NBA should not be the way it is. But you got this commissioner. I still think he needs to get out of there because he's catering to LeBron. They say, oh, Michael Jordan never got it. He got catered, but Jordan had to win on his own. They gave him shitty-ass teams before he came in the league. They didn't cater him and give him an all-star unit. When people keep on talking about the Bulls were an all-star unit, I'm trying to figure it out. Who's the all-star? Who? Dennis Rodman only averaged 5 points a fucking game. He averaged 5 points. Oh, he averaged all these rebounds. But he was a liability. And half of the time, he didn't fucking play. Scottie Pippen was hurt all the time. He had back problems. And he had hip problems. But Scottie Pippen, yes, he did well, and he's a great defender. He always been a great defender ever since he was in college. But he had to learn how to play basketball because he didn't know how to play offense. He wasn't a great passer. He wasn't a great shooter. He wasn't a great three-point shooter, and he wasn't a great foul shooter. You could look up at him when he first started playing because he didn't start. And you know this guy named Brad Sellers, he started over Scottie Pippen. Look him up. Pippen didn't start until 88. Think about that. He didn't start until 88. That was when he was drafted in 87, but he didn't play until 88. And when Scottie Pippen did play, he played terrible. And he kept on getting benched because he was missing foul shots. He was taking bad shots. And Jordan went up to Phil Jackson and told him, listen, I can't be carrying Pippen all these times. Pippen got to get his game right. So Pippen worked hard to get his game right. He said, look, I can't score. I'm going to play some defense. That's why I think the greatest defensive forward of all time, because I think Pippen wasn't a great scorer. And I love Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen is one of my favorite players in history. But I really think he wasn't a great scorer. He didn't average that many points. He averaged 16 points a game. In the playoffs, he averaged about 19. But the only reason why they beat the Pistons, because Pippen played a remarkable game. He averaged 22 points a game that game. That's how they got by the Pistons. Yes, he guarded Magic Johnson, but Magic Johnson was a lot older. He wasn't the Magic Johnson that was playing in the times he won them 5 championships. And Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't play, and James Worthy didn't play. So the thing is that we could talk about the Bulls being dominant, yes, but Jordan was the most dominant player, averaged over 36 points a game. Averaging 36 points a game. So I don't understand why people will say, oh, well, LeBron James really doesn't get that many triple doubles. He's not even a top in triple doubles. He's a great basketball player. But when you came in them finals, Jordan would dominate. Jordan could have 37 fucking points. People say, well, he had John Paxson. He had Steve Kerr. So the fuck what? LeBron James had Kyrie Irving. And he had fucking Ray Allen. But they said that he won them champions by himself. And I'm still trying to figure out when did he win these championships by himself. When? When did he ever win a championship? When he blocked the shot? That didn't win a championship because Kyrie, the next play, hit a three-pointer and won the game. When did Ray Allen hit that three-point shot in the corner? Where was LeBron? LeBron was on the three-point line, standing over there, hoping that he missed. But he made the shot. Because if they would have missed the game, they would have missed the game winner, the Spurs would have won their 6th championship. They would have been tied with the Bulls. But they missed Ray Allen made the last shot, and they won in overtime. When they said, well, LeBron had a good game. I don't give a fuck about the good game. Jordan had good games and let Paxton and what's the name, hit the last shot. But people wanted to destroy Jordan, but he had Paxson hit a shot, or he had Kerr hit a shot. But nobody destroys LeBron when LeBron had, maybe not even just that, if Bosh didn't grab that rebound and pass the ball back out to fucking Ray Allen, it would never been a shot. Because guess who wasn't in that game? Tim Duncan. Just imagine Tim Duncan was in that game. Bosh would never grab that rebound. And LeBron James would have been, what's his record? He would have been 4-7. And also against Golden State. Golden State, I still think to this day that the refs and the commissioner got them to lose that game. Because there's no way you have Curry, the greatest shooter of all time, and probably the greatest player. I believe Curry is amongst the rest of shooters and great players. How the hell does he get in foul trouble in every game? And then Thompson gets hurt, and you kick the young boy out of Draymond Green because of him calling him a curse word. How? And then you take away all the three big men, the big three big men that actually are the stars for LeBron to win that championship. Because I still remember when LeBron James drove in the lane, I think Curry fouled him, and then Curry threw his mouthpiece. Because he was like, yo, what are you? And he had 4 fouls. 4 fouls. And LeBron didn't have none. I don't get it. I don't get it, because to me, the NBA is becoming like the NFL. It's becoming like the NFL. The few years where they had Brady. It's becoming like the NFL. It's not even fair to watch basketball anymore. Because when you watch basketball, it gets so sloppy that all these shots that they're taking are bad. They shoot threes because they believe that they're going to make them all the time. And they got to take 44 to 40 to 53s. Because that's what the coach tells them. Take 40 to 53s. Why? Tell them to go to the line. Why is it so hard to shoot foul? Why are basketball teams so afraid to shoot foul shots? Why are these they've got no centers. They don't have no centers. They got centers that play wing, and they shoot the basketball. They really don't play no defense. People say, well, they got all these other great players. They got Wemby and all that. Wemby is something different. Wemby, they're going to tear Wemby down. I swear to God. I don't think Wemby is really going to be. If Wemby gets hurt, he's done. If he hurts one of his feet, Yao Ming and all of them, that hurt their feet. You had a lot of other great centers that hurt their legs or their feet that were over 7 foot. Now, he could be like how Manute played. Manute Bol lasted the league for, I think he played like 11 years. But see, he had problems with his body. And he was 7, he was taller than Yemby. But the thing about it is, if he gets hurt, his career is over. And that's the problem I have with guys that are tall and skinny and don't gain weight. He needs to gain some weight. Like I always say, Durant needs to gain some weight because Durant gets hurt all the fucking time. You gotta have size when you play basketball, not humongous size. I'm not saying he has to be like how, even George Gervin, when George Gervin was playing in the NBA. See, George Gervin, and this is the reason why I say the league is so fucked up. Look at the players of the past, right? And look at the players today. The players today are a lot smaller. They're not physical. They're not really that physical like they used to be. So when you got these players in the past being big guys, over 200, over 190, these players can take that physicality back in the 90s and 80s and 90s. They can take that physicality. They can take that punishment. You know what I mean? They could get knocked to the floor, get right back up, and brush it off and make their foul shots, or drive in there and get a dunk over a layup over a center. Today, players don't do that because they're not taught to be physical. When they got these AAU teams, they're not taught to play physical basketball. They're taught to be on the wings. You know what I mean? They're taught to play zone. They're taught to switch. They're not taught to play one-on-one, man-to-man defense and play 90 feet on the floor. They're not taught that like they were taught in the past, playing 90 feet, playing track, playing a three and a half zone, playing a 1-2 track, everything. A 1-2-3 track. They don't play that. Or the 1-2-2 zone. They don't play that in the NBA anymore. They always play these zones that they allow the player to shoot. Because why would you play a zone against Curry? Curry is a shooter. You got to play man against Curry. You got to be in his chest. But they don't do that. They'll say, well, Curry can get around him. Okay, that's why you have a center. The center will force Curry to pass the ball. But they don't have that. They play a lot of zone, and they don't play with a center. Now, you got some players that can play center. Like, you got 5-time defensive player in the year. What's his name? I forgot his fucking name. He played with Yambi in the Olympics. I always forget his name. But he's a 5-time defensive player of the year. He's the only one that won defensive player of the year 5 times. Well, 4 times. He's going to win. I think he's going to win next year 5 times. He'll be the only player in history to win 5 defensive player of the year award. I think he's tied with what's his name? Fuck his name is. Oh God, I forgot his fucking name. So right now, I'm not thinking right now. Big Ben. See, the thing is, I think the league has watered down its league. Even though the NBA will say, oh, that's not true. We still got some physicality. And they try to prove it in some game. You can't prove it to the old heads that the NBA is physical. You can't prove to the old heads that. Because the old heads already know it's not. Just because we're trying to defend, some basketball players, some old heads are trying to defend the league because basketball is their favorite sport. So they have to defend the NBA and say, oh, the basketball league is all right. I think it's in a good place. But they know it's not. They know basketball is losing a lot of money. They have these stars that are getting older, which are trying to keep these stars to stay in the league for a long motherfucking period of time because they know they're trying to find other stars, which they can't find. Which they say, well, Anthony Edwards, I wish they stopped this with Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards is a great player. Let him develop. Stop trying to make him be the next Jordan. Because they did that to so many players like Grant Hill. They did that to fucking McGrady. They did that to Penny Hardaway. They did that to other players, man. You know, and it's unfair to compare them to Michael Jordan. They did it to Kobe. You know what I mean? They kept on saying, we're going to compare. We have to. No, you can't do that. Let these players fucking develop. Let these players become what they're supposed to become. Because they're trying to make them be something that they're not, and they'll get hurt. And they'll be out for the rest of they might get injured like Tracy McGrady did. Grant Hill with his foot. Kobe Bryant, through the years, started getting injuries. Iverson started getting injuries. You can't compare them to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan played 13 years for one team. 1 year, 13 years. And he played from the time that he came out of college. And he played the way he played throughout his whole career. Kobe had to develop. McGrady had to develop. McGrady didn't even start. Grant Hill came in the league, was dominating the league until he got hurt. I mean, it's a lot of players that came in the league and they Harold Miner. I know a lot of y'all don't even know who Harold Miner. They could call him the next Michael Jordan because he won the slam dunk contest. And guess what happened to him? He's not even in the league. He only played 3 years. He was like 5 years in the league and he was out of the league. Stop comparing these players to Michael Jordan. Stop comparing LeBron to Michael Jordan. Stop it. Jordan is on another stratosphere. He's in another fucking, light years away from any other player. He's probably up there with he's light years away with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Bill Russell and Wilt and Kobe. He's on a different pedestal than everybody else. And even NBA greats said the same thing playing against him. Yeah, they'll probably say LeBron James is a great player. They'll just say Bron is this and that because they know it's not true. They know who the GOAT is because they played against him for 13 years. Kids don't know nothing about Michael because they don't want to ever call him the GOAT because they don't like that he dominated his era. How can you hate somebody that dominates their era? You should respect that person that dominates his era. Say, goddamn, Jordan dominated his era. Like you say Kobe did. And now you're saying LeBron is doing. But now LeBron is 4-6. Kobe's 5-2. Jordan's 6-0. Magic is 5-2. Kareem, I think, is 5-4. No, 5-3. No, 6-3. My fault, 6-3. And you got LeBron James guy. He's 33 and 20. He's 22 and 33 in finals history. I mean, that's the worst in NBA history ever since the 1960s. He's the worst in finals history. And he has the lowest fucking finals record in NBA history. 4-6. That's a damn shame. You got motherfucking Wilt Chamberlain is 2-1. I think he's 2-2. Think about that. He's 2-2. And you got LeBron being 4-6. And he had the worst 3 games in the finals in history. By only scored 16 points. Everybody goes, well, Jordan scored less points in the playoffs. People want to try to separate the finals and the playoffs. Like, they want to say, well, the playoffs is part of the finals, and it's not. The NBA finals is way different. It's in a box. You have to get to the finals. So that's why it's called the playoff bracket. The finals is in the middle. Teams have to get into that box. It's separated from the playoff. It's not called the playoffs finals. It's called the NBA finals. It's called the NBA playoffs. That's why they separated. Yes, Jordan's 1-9. Who cares about his 1-9? He played with the most worst teams that he ever played with in his career. Jordan was the best player not with the best team. It's not even when Phil Jackson came to the team. They still lost to the Pistons. Did you know that they lost 3 games to the Pistons when Phil Jackson was the head coach? Scottie Pippen was on that team. They lost 3 times. And people still would say, well, he got Scottie Pippen. No, it's when they got Tex Winners. It's when they started winning finals, not Phil Jackson. Tex Winners is the one that created the triangle because he used it in college when he was a college coach. Not Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson, when Phil Collins got fired, and guess what? Tex Winners was on the team when Phil Collins was the head coach. That's how Jordan started playing in the post because of Tex Winners. Not Phil Jackson, because Phil Jackson was an assistant coach. He wasn't a head coach yet. He even when Collins got fired, he kept Tex Winners on the fucking team. And that's how they won championships. Yes, Phil Jackson is a hell of a coach, but he's not Tex Winners. Tex Winners could have coached that team to a fucking finals because it was his offense. But people want to talk about Phil Jackson. He's the greatest. He is the greatest coach of all time in basketball. But you got to say Tex Winners is the greatest assistant coach of all time because he's the one that developed the offense for the Bulls, and not just the Bulls, because Tex Winners went over there to the Lakers too and won championships with the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe Bryant. Which people keep on forgetting about that because they want to talk about Phil, but they want to talk about Tex Winners. Because I always get this Phil Jackson bullcrap. And I love Phil Jackson. But people need to start talking about Tex Winners. Because without Tex Winners, Phil Jackson would never win a championship. Because he would never develop an offense because it wasn't his offense that he developed. It was a triangle that would do Tex Winners. But people have this problem with talking about, well, Jordan had Scottie Pippen and he had Phil Jackson. Yes, he did. What player didn't have another player on his team or a great coach? And didn't Bill Russell have what's his name as his head coach? Didn't Will Chamberlain have a superstar head coach? I forgot his freaking name. He's from Philly. And he won a championship. And after Will lost that coach, Will didn't win a championship ever since then until he went to LA and played with Jerry West. And he won a championship. And after that, they got rid of the coach, and Will Chamberlain didn't play well after that. But he still wanted to win, but he didn't when he only won 2 titles. So why can LeBron go to all these teams, have all these coaches, but they said he's the coach? I still don't understand. How can you be a coach when you are not a great dominant player yourself? Yes, he can average 30, but you got other players averaging 20. You got other players averaging 19. It's not like he's the only one averaging all these points and nobody else. Like, they used to crap me up when they talk about Dwayne Wade. Talk about, Dwayne Wade wasn't the same. Are you thinking Dwayne Wade averaged 20 points a game, 24 points a game? And in that final, Dwayne Wade was dominating in that final. But nobody likes to talk about Dwayne Wade because Dwayne Wade was old. He wasn't old. Dwayne Wade was still, he was like in his early 30s. People want to call people old. They want to call the Pistons old when the Pistons would have played against the Bulls. They wasn't old. They were young. Isaiah Thomas was only 29 years old. I think Dumars was like in his mid-20s. Then you had Dennis Rodman. He wasn't even that old. He was like in his 20s. And Bill Laimbeer was in his late. I think he was like in his early 30s. But they said that they were all old. They said, "Oh well, let's talk about the Lakers." Well, the Lakers, Magic Johnson been in the league ever since '79. So why the fuck he wouldn't be old? And he was in his early 30s. And Jordan just got to his first finals. And people really dogged out Magic Johnson's Laker team, which was the best team in the West. And they made the finals. Oh, he played against the old team. So you're telling me them old teams made it to the finals. So you want a young team to go to the finals and play against the Bulls? So they talk about the Sonics. The Sonics are the best defense in the NBA. Oh, Jordan didn't play nobody. Man, how? Were you playing all the teams that were number one seeds? The Bulls played every single team that was a number one seed. Think about that. The Bulls played every single team that was a number one seed. That was in the finals. Think about that. He played against the Jazz twice. He played against the Sonics that had the number one seed. He played all the teams that had number one seeds. And he played against teams that had the best defense in the NBA. And had all top Hall of Famers and All-Stars on their team. And great shooters. And great defensive players. But nobody gives them team credit because they're from the 90s. But you talk about these players today, say how LeBron played against all these spectacular stars in the finals, and I'm sitting up there like, God damn, but he didn't beat them. How can you be playing against the best stars in the league, and you're the best player in the league, and you're losing to them teams? You are 4-6 in the finals. You're 22-33 in the finals, and you lost to these great teams with these great players. Which you're talking about how LeBron played against all these top. How is losing great? Nobody ever tells me how losing is great. Tell me how losing is great. How you losing makes you the GOAT. Being 4-6, you talk about this longevity bullcrap as being something that he carries with him for the rest of his life, being an all-time leading scorer, breaking all these records. Why do people care that he's breaking all these records in longevity? Just because, oh, he's a great basketball player. Everybody forgot about Tom Brady. Everybody forgot about Sam Perkins. Everybody talk about, people forgot about Vince Carter. Nobody talks about any other players that played. Nobody talks about Kobe, who played 20 years in the NBA. Nobody talks about them. Why? Because LeBron James was almost 40 years old. Jordan was 42 when he retired. And he had 2 50-point games. And Jordan wasn't what he was. But so what? Did you know that they sold out stadiums just to watch him? You watch that last Sixer game and see what Jordan went through when he was at the foul line. And how they took pictures of him and he couldn't even see the basket. People don't understand how great that man was. People are just and I always don't understand, like, you always talk bad about a movie, but you've never seen it. Oh, that movie was good. You never seen it? Oh, I didn't see it. So why you talk bad about it if you've never seen it? Like, they talk bad about Michael Jackson, but they never seen Michael Jackson in person. And I never seen Michael Jackson in person, but my sister seen Michael Jackson in person. In a stadium, you couldn't even walk in a stadium because the stadium was so freaking packed. They had men passing out for this motherfucker. Men passing out for Michael Jackson. Grown-ass men passing out for him. Not just women, men. So think about that. Saying somebody's garbage, somebody this or that. If you never see them, if you've never been in the 90s, you're probably a little ass kid saying, Mom, who's that? They'll say, that's Michael Jordan. Who's Michael Jordan? And then when you get older, then you know who Michael Jordan is. You got the shoes on your feet. So you got the mics on your feet, right? You got the Jordans on your feet, right? You got the Jordans on your feet. But when you fucking see the man in person, you wouldn't even know who the fuck he is. Yeah, Michael Jordan's an asshole. Yes, Michael Jordan will sign autographs for kids. No, Michael Jordan only sign, I'm telling you the truth, Jordan only signed it for women. He only sign autographs for women. He don't give a damn about men. He only care about women. I mean, the thing about it is that man, you know what he did when he was young and when he gotten older. It's to hate somebody that you know. Just because you like somebody, you want to hate on somebody else because that motherfucker's better than the person that you like. It's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, Michael Jordan he dominated his era. They say, oh, Michael Jordan was garbage. Michael Jordan. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? When did you see him? You watched him on YouTube? You never see this man play on TV, on NBC, where they used to show basketball. Or used to watch basketball on ABC. You never see this man pick up a basketball. And it's funny when me and my homie was sitting up there listening to them boys talk about Michael Jordan. They're young. I'm like, yo, are you serious? You have your players of your time. You should enjoy them while you can. Because LeBron's going to retire. And then you're going to have to tell your kids who LeBron was. And your kids are not going to care nothing about LeBron because they're going to have their next GOAT in their mind. They might not even care nothing about Michael Jordan. or Kobe Bryant or any of the players in the past. And every time you talk about LeBron, you'll be debating against LeBron James and your son's player that he likes to think is the GOAT. You're going to be dealing with that shit one day. That's crazy. You don't understand why my generation gets so mad at this generation, because y'all don't sit there and just appreciate somebody that changed the game for y'all to get all this fucking money, to get all the endorsements, to get the sneakers, to get the logo, to get your name shined in lights, to have AAU. Who wants to be like LeBron? Nobody ever says that. You got commercials saying, I want to be like Mike. I never heard a commercial talk about, oh, I want to be like LeBron. No, you're like Mike. I want to be like Mike. Those are the commercials. And to this very day, when you see Michael Jordan, everybody pays attention. Even the commercials that he has, people pay attention to it. It's like, oh, I see a new Mike. I see a new commercial with Jordan in it. And people's like, God damn, I can't wait. I see motherfuckers hate Jordan in long ass lines waiting for them Jordans to come out. They be standing there, sitting in tents, drinking and sitting there having their friends there, waiting for from the morning, noon, to night to go on to get some sneakers of Michael Jordan. And these are kids that say Jordan's garbage. These are kids that say Jordan can't play. This is kids that say that LeBron will dominate Jordan, or LeBron's the GOAT. But they're waiting in these long lines, waiting to get these sneakers. And you can't tell me I'm not lying. They're not waiting for Kyrie's. They're not waiting for Durant's. They're not waiting for LeBron's. No, them motherfuckers sit there in a long line waiting for them MJs. And when they come out, the kids are rushing in that store trying to spend over $200 fucking dollars, and they're collecting them so they can sell them. So the number one sneaker that people are selling is Michael Jordan's. So why the hell people talk bad about him, but they're going to make money off of him? But you're not selling LeBron's. I don't see people running out there snatching up some LeBron's and going to their homie like, look, dog, I got these LeBron's. People are like, I don't want no fucking LeBron's. I want some Jordans. I want some 1s. I want some 10s. I want them 11s. You don't see nobody right now say, I want the first LeBron's. I'm not saying LeBron has some ugly sneakers, because he has some nice sneakers. They're not better than Kobe's. Now, I'll run out and get the fucking Kobe's before I get any sneakers, because I still want the purple and gold Kobe's, the Nike ones. But Jordans, y'all kids be running out there, standing in them long ass lines. It could be freezing and raining. It could be a hailstorm, a hurricane. Y'all staying out there waiting for them Jordans to come out. I'm just being honest. And a lot of these people be like, I had kids on there say, you absolutely right, old head. I'll be in that line while I was waiting for those sneakers to come out. And you got these young boys say, old head, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because they always have it on Facebook, or they always have it that Jordan's going to be coming out soon with a new pair of sneakers, even though they're not the new pair. They're still the same motherfucking pair of retros. People will go out there and spend hundreds, 200, 300, thousands of dollars for them sneakers and wear them for one day, and then they try to sell them on Amazon or eBay or these sneaker places that they'll sell these sneakers, but they'll talk trash about them. They'll dog them out, but they're walking down the street with a pair of Jordans on. They're walking down the street with a Jordan shirt or a Bulls hat. Oh, I hate Jordan. Yo, man, you like my Jordans, dog? These Jordans hot as shit, yo. I got these for $200. Yo, I got them at Foot Locker. Yo, I waited that long line all night long, man. They're trying to bust in front of me, man. I don't got to fight with a couple of them guys. They ain't going to take my Jordans. I'm going to be the first one at the door. And they be at the first one at the door. Those are the ones that hate Michael. How you hate somebody who buy his clothes? Why do you wear his clothes and you don't like the man? Oh, because you say, oh, because it makes you money. So the fuck what? You can sell LeBron's and make money. I mean, you can sell Kyrie's and make some money. Why is Jordan a big name for kids? And they never seen this motherfucker play. Because of us. That's why. We are the ones that made y'all wear Jordans. Because we're the ones that were buying Jordans in the 90s, in the early 80s and 90s. We're the ones that made Jordan's brand what it is. Not y'all generation. Because all y'all do is wear retros. We used to wear the real Jordans. You know what I mean? From the 1s to the 11s. We wore them sneakers. And those are the ones he wore playing at his games. So we are the ones that actually wore the real Nike Jordans before they started coming out with retros when Jordan got his own company. We're the ones that wore that. You know what I mean? And it's funny how people really believe that Jordans came out of 2020. So they have this debate starting 2020 between LeBron and Jordan. And I'm like, wow, man. If I see another kid with a pair of Michael Jordans and he said he hates Jordan, I'm going to fucking cuss him out. because it's weird to me. You wear somebody's gear, but you don't like them. And people say, well, it happens. But don't talk bad about the player if you up there sporting his gear. I mean, that look kind of weird. Like, that's kind of funny to me. I mean, it's like me saying I don't like Kyrie Irving, but I wear his sneakers. I have a pair of Kyrie's, and I like Kyrie, and I like his sneakers. I bought his sneakers because I like Kyrie. I'm not gonna buy a pair of sneakers, and I'm hating on the motherfucker, and I hating on him when I'm wearing his clothes. Cause I seen kids wear sneakers and hate on Jordan when they're wearing his sneakers right in front of me. And like, you got a pair of Jordans on, man. So what, man? I don't care, man. I still don't like him. Why? He not better than LeBron. Why? Don't tell me you hate him. Tell me the reason why you dislike this man. What did he do to you to make you dislike him so much? What did he do to you? Did he give you an autograph? Like, I mean, he disrespected you or something? He's not a basketball player no more. He doesn't come to your house and ring your doorbell. LeBron ain't gonna come and visit you. He ain't gonna knock on your door and say, hey, my name is LeBron, and shake your hand. LeBron don't give a damn about his fans. Like, every sport athlete probably don't care about their fans. Just because you see LeBron James doing a little bit of action on TV, that don't mean he does. I heard LeBron is the most ignorant motherfucker in the world, dog. I heard he don't give autographs to kids. I heard he'll walk by kids and not even give them autographs. And he'd be kids that be not even begging for an autograph. If LeBron can have your autograph, he'll just walk right by and go. Jordan did the same thing. Jordan does the same thing. But the thing is, for a man to say that he is doing all these things for the community and all this other kind of stuff, that's doing something for the community is giving out autographs. You want to give out a little bit of word on a freaking jersey and have the kids smile. Both of them don't do that. And it's very ignorant, but that's how the way they live. But how can you sit there and say, oh, well, I don't like him. Yeah, him playing as a basketball player and talk about him gambling all the time. And that's another thing before I get off. I got to talk about gambling. People like to talk about Michael Jordan gambling all the time, right? They'll bring up him gambling. Why is that something that people care about? Because they think LeBron James don't gamble. They call LeBron James gambling in the casino. So a man that's a billionaire, a self-made billionaire. Well, he's not self-made because he had a lot of people help him. You know, starting with Nike on his way up to having his own business and being his own franchise, having his own franchise. The man is a multi-billionaire. Why wouldn't he want to gamble his money? Even when he was in the NBA, he made like $6 million working for Nike. Jordan had money. He had money out the ass. He got money for Gatorade. He got money for Nike. He had money for Nike, Gatorade, and McDonald's, Full Balloon. I could go on and on and on. All the money that Jordan had, and he could gamble his money away anytime he fucking feel like it because it's his money. Why do people care about Jordan gambling? He wasn't gambling billions. He was gambling the money that he wanted to gamble. He liked gambling. He liked doing that. That's the way he lived his life. He gambled and played basketball. And he was really good at basketball more than he was good at gambling. But why is that such important to people to talk about him gambling? Now, if you're going to casino, what you going to do? You going to sit there and watch the slots? No, you're going to gamble. You're going to put some money in them slot machines, and you're going to see you're going to win some money. You're going to be at the poker tables, and you're going to see if you can win some money at the poker tables. That's what people do when they go to fucking casinos. They don't sit there and say, I'm going to watch everybody else play and not put no money, why are you there? Jordan went there to play, he gambled. So what? That's his money. He can gamble all his money away and probably make it all the fuck back because he fucking owns the sneakers that everybody wants. He's a $2-point-something billion man. And people care. If LeBron gambled, will people care? No. Because like I said, he got caught gambling before. So when people get excited that, oh my God, LeBron's gambling. Oh my God, it's so hot that he's gambling. No, people will sit there and hate Michael because he wants to gamble his money away. And people want to talk bad about him. Oh, he's a gambler. Oh my God. Like, dude, never seen it. If you my age, and I used to go to casinos and watch people gamble their money away. People gamble their money away once they go to the casino. They don't go to the casino just to watch everybody else gamble. They go there to spend money because they want to be lucky to win money. Jordan does the same fucking thing with his own money. He's a rich entrepreneur that sits at a gambling table probably got stacks of thousands sitting there, and he gambling it away, knowing he's gonna make that stacks of thousand back. You think that motherfucker loses money? You think Jordan was ever broke? That motherfucker was never broke. He was never, and he'll never be broke. That's why he could gamble his money away. When people like to talk about him gambling all the time. If you were a billionaire, would you sit there and say, "Oh, I'm not going to gamble"? No, you're going to be at the casino. Because that's what happens when you are traveling. You're going to be in hotels that got casinos. And you think Jordan not going downstairs and going to the casino and gamble? No, he's going to do that. That's his money. Like I said before, Jordan can gamble right now, millions of dollars. He's going to make that millions of dollars back anyway. Because people like us buy his sneakers. And you think he's not going to make that money back. But people don't want him gambling for some reason. Why is he gambling? Because that's his money. He can do anything he wants with his money. And we got to stop criticizing people because the people making millions of dollars and we don't have that million. And we don't know what we would do if we had millions of dollars in our pocket. We don't know we will walk around. We don't know we buy that expensive car. We don't know we're going to buy that big ass house and spend millions of dollars on the most dumbest shit. I mean, you're not hearing Jordan buying dumb shit. You see him gambling. So the fuck what? He's not buying the most dumbest shit these people are buying that are rich. Buying gold toilets. Like motherfucking Donald Trump. And buying and having a gold elevator or escalator. Come on. Who buys stupid shit like that? A lot of them. But you got this man wanting to gamble, wanting to spend his money. People want to hate on him because he had problems before with gambling. That happened back in late, like I think in the mid 90s. But they're bringing that up because they don't like the man. If you don't like the man, talk about his game. Talk about how bad he was at basketball. Even though you know you're telling a lie. Because that's all people do is lie. People lie to try to get likes and comments. I mean, when people tell the truth, they don't want to talk about them. They want to hate on them, call them names and all that other kind of stuff. And talk about whatever they have in their house, whatever. They want to talk bad about them. When they start telling the truth. I'm not hating on LeBron. Like I said, I like LeBron. I think LeBron's a great basketball player. But I don't even put him, I don't have him in my top 10. I never will. Even in the Olympics, I think Curry should have been an MVP. But they wanted to give that to LeBron so bad because he won the tournament MVP. They want him to be over LeBron Jordan. They want to try to erase Jordan's name so bad. And they can't because of the fucking sneakers. And that's the reason why they're having problems erasing Jordan's name. Because of his fucking sneakers. Just imagine if Jordan didn't have sneakers, it would probably be easy to get Jordan out of people's mind. No, the Michael Jordans are always going to be in existence. And people are always going to want Michaels. And LeBron James knows that shit. And that's what's really making him mad. He knows those sneakers are going to keep people remembering him. And even the generation today that all hate Michael Jordan and shit, going to remember Jordan probably 50 years from now. Because when they open their closet, they're going to see all them Jordans they have in their room. Or have underneath their bed. And they're going to pick them Jordans up like, God damn, I love these sneakers. And they're going to put them on their feet. And they're going to be Michaels. You're not going to put no LeBrons on your feet. You're not going to put no Currys on your feet. You're not going to put Durant's on your feet. You're going to put them MJs on your feet. And that's the reason why people will never forget about Michael Jordan. 50 years from now, 60 years from now, 100 years from now. Because Jordans will always be made. Because his daughter's going to take over the company. Or his son's going to take over his company. Or his wife is going to take over. Or his other wife is going to take over the company. So his Jordans are going to keep on coming out. If they're retros or they're originals. They're going to keep coming out in every single different color that you can probably imagine. And motherfuckers going to be at the fucking, it'll be 100 years from now, Foot Locker's still open. You're going to see people my age, this generation being my age, and that line buying them Jordans. They're going to be in line at Foot Locker. They're going to be in line at these sneaker stores. Waiting for Jordans, waiting for them to open the door. Early in the fucking morning. Like they used to do when PlayStation came the fuck out. And when Genesis came out, they had a long ass line. That's what these people are doing today. When they hear the word Jordan, it's like they're going to fill the whole block up around a corner. And it's going to be like, all these kids are going to be my age. They're going to be in their 40s buying Jordans. And then they're going to be like, God damn, why are we in line buying Jordans? We don't like Jordans. We don't like Michael Jordan. The man could be dead. And people are going to still remember Jordan. They're not going to stop. Forget. LeBron's going to be remembered, but not going to be remembered like Michael Jordan. They'll still probably remember Bill Russell. Bill Russell died like almost 3 years ago. They'll still remember Bill Russell. They'll still remember Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They'll still remember Magic. They'll still remember Larry Bird. These names will never disappear because Michael Jordan is the one who's going to keep these names out there. Because if you're going to remember Michael Jordan, you're going to remember Larry Bird, Magic Johnson, Sean Kemp, Gary Payton. You're going to remember all them players because they played against them. Karl Malone, John Stockton, Duckworth. You remember Duckworth? Well, a lot of people don't know who Duckworth is. You're gonna remember Parrott. You're gonna remember Porter, and you're gonna remember Clyde Drexler. You're gonna remember. You're also gonna remember Alonzo Mourning and David Robinson and Charles Barkley because they all played in Jordan's era. So you're always gonna remember them. And people just gonna sit there and tell me I'm wrong. I'm not wrong. In the future, y'all, 50 years from now, 20 years from now, these kids are going to be marching into the Foot Lockers trying to figure out where the Jordans are. And they might not sell, they might even sell them on in stores anymore. They might sell them online. So you're gonna have all these people going online looking for retro Jordans. And will spend thousands on them. But these are the same people that don't like Michael. These are the same people that tell Michael's garbage. These are the same people that say that Michael Jordan is not better than LeBron. But they're in them stores. Do you have the black and red ones? You have you have the North Carolina 11s. Yeah, kids do that. It's funny, though. It's funny to me. I've been on this earth for 48 years, man. And I've never heard people talk so bad about Jordan when I was young. Not even none of the players of the past. We'll talk about the players of the past being garbage. Not even in the 60s or even in the 50s. Never talked about them being garbage or being bad players. But then, even in the 70s when the NBA was falling down and not being popular, because they had the ABA, and they had all the great players in the ABA. And then they started bringing all the great players into the NBA because the NBA was falling apart. And because the ABA fell apart, so they brought all the players to the NBA. And they had Dr. J and many other players, George Gervin, all come to the ABA. They had King, Bernard King, all of them come to the NBA. And look what the 70s did. The 70s was probably the greatest of the basketball era, besides the 90s. Because they had all the great players in the 70s. Not in the 90s, in the 70s. And then it switched over when Magic Johnson came and Larry Bird came to fill in with Dr. J. And then Moses Malone. And many other great players that were in that era coming into the 80s. And then when Jordan came in 84, in 85, that's when you knew that basketball was going to change. And basketball did change when Jordan came in. And that's when you started getting more great players coming into the 90s. And then the 2000s came. Then you really had a great roster during the 2000s. And after the 2000s came into the mid 2000s when basketball was still great. And then now you got this basketball after the pandemic. After LeBron James won the pandemic trophy, it came that now 4 years after LeBron James is the best player of all time. Which nobody was talking about LeBron because they were talking about Kobe more. And when Kobe passed away, that's when I think they destroyed Kobe's name. And they try to bewilder Kobe, try to tear Kobe down, tell Kobe that try to make Kobe look like he wasn't a great player, and saying that LeBron was better than him. And I'm like, are you freaking serious? Oh, he played with Shaq. So? Didn't Dr. J play with Moses Malone? Didn't Jerry West play with Will Chamberlain? Didn't Cousy, Havlicek, all of them play with Bill Russell? Why can't you have another great player besides you? Why? Why people always got to have to believe that it's an imaginary thing? It's like you cannot win without another great player. That's sports. Any sport besides boxing. You have another player that can play alongside you to win. You got to have another player besides you. Even in wrestling, you got to have another great tag team partner. You can't win a tag team championship by yourself unless you have another great partner. That's sports. Like in soccer, you can't have just one great soccer player. You got to have 2 or 3 of them on your team. Football's the same way. You got to have a great player on offense. You have a great player on defense. Basketball's the same way. You got to have another teammate that can help you win. Why do people want to believe that basketball is only won by one player? That's not basketball. Basketball is a team sport. LeBron James, yes, he's a great player, but he had other players around him that helped him win a title. He had Dwayne Wade, he had Chris Bosh, he had Kevin Love, he had Kyrie Irving, he had Anthony Davis, he had Rondo, he had Dwight Howard, he had Carmelo Anthony. These are all Hall of Famers. These are all 75th anniversary players. Jordan only had one player for his whole career until he got Dennis Rodman. But Dennis Rodman was old. He was older than Jordan and older. I think he was 36. When he retired, I think he was 37 when he retired. No, he was 38 when he retired. People thinking that Rodman was young. Rodman wasn't a scorer. He only averaged 5 points a game. He was a great rebounder. He wasn't even a great defender. He wasn't a great defender. He knew how to get under people's skin. That's the reason why that defense worked. But Dennis Rodman was very aggressive, and he got in a lot of foul trouble. And he wasn't a great foul shooter. And he wasn't a great shooter because he didn't shoot the ball. He only shot the ball when he was open, but he missed a lot. And he played around too much. Jordan had to get in his face and ears sometimes and say, stop playing. We need to win this game. Rodman always got himself kicked out of games. Or Rodman would not play a game because he would be late coming from a damn party and Phil Jackson will bench him. Like he used to do to Scottie Pippen. Bench Pippen. See, but people don't know that. That Dennis Rodman was a great player. They needed him to win the title. But why is it that he get Dennis Rodman? And everybody will talk about, well, LeBron James did. He had Kyrie Irving and he had Kevin Love. And he had one of probably the greatest centers of all time in defense. And Anthony Davis, because Anthony Davis is all over the place. I think Anthony Davis is better than LeBron. I think he is because he's a better shooter. He can play point guard because he played point guard in high school. He can play point. And he can actually shoot the ball from three-point line. And he can shoot the ball from the inside the paint. And he's a great post player. LeBron James can't do none of that shit. He's older now. Anthony Davis is still young. That's why everybody's saying, why don't they trade Anthony Davis and get some draft picks? No, they don't want to trade Anthony Davis because LeBron James is not going to win without Anthony Davis. And nobody else want to play with LeBron. Anthony Davis don't even want to play with LeBron no more. Because he gets sick and tired of every time LeBron James will get all the accolades and Anthony Davis don't get shit. He won the finals in the freaking game that they had in the pandemic. He shot the last shot that won the game, but they told LeBron James was the best player, and he wasn't. Kyrie hits the last shot. Kyrie should got MVP, but they didn't want to give it to him. They want to give it to LeBron. We can go on and on and on now how they gave him the MVP of the tournament, and Anthony Davis dominated the tournament. But they wanted to give the trophy to LeBron. And the Olympic game that Kyrie, really honestly, Durant led the team in scoring. He's the all-time leader in scoring in the Olympic history. How the hell did LeBron James get a trophy? Curry went on a streak in 2 games, which people don't want to talk about, saying that he got hot late. So the fuck what? He actually beat a team by himself. And he did it to get in the finals when he played against France. He hit 9 threes one game, and he came back and was killing the next game in the finals. But you know what they did? They looked like LeBron James, and LeBron's going to give you it because we want you to be better than Michael. Just stupid. The most stupidest thing in the world. To give a trophy to somebody because they want them to be better than somebody the fuck else. Jordan probably up there laughing. I won 2 motherfucking trophies as a rookie and in my second year. And I won my 3rd one, and I didn't even hardly score. But Jordan was even MVP. Barkley was MVP. Well, they didn't give out MVPs that time. But Barkley would have been MVP because he led the team in scoring. Because Barkley would have been MVP. Jordan would have been MVP. But they want to say, well, Barkley was dominating because they couldn't stop Barkley because Barkley was so big. And he was so aggressive. They were scared of Barkley. That's the reason why a lot of teams didn't like playing against Barkley. He was so feared. And he could score. People forgot that Barkley was the second best player in the NBA when Jordan was playing. He was the second best player. Even Jordan said that Jordan, if he didn't play, he said Barkley would have been the best player in the NBA. Because Barkley played like Jordan. He was a great post player. He could do a fadeaway. He could shoot foul shots. He was I think he was a 77% foul shooter, but he was a good foul shooter. And he was clutch. And he wasn't scared of nobody. And he led the league in rebounding 7 times. He was up there with Dennis Rodman. Just imagine, see, people don't know this either, that Charles Barkley was really supposed to go to the Bulls. Just imagine, because I know everybody would have hated this shit, if Barkley went to the Bulls. Because Jordan asked him to come and play for the Bulls to win a championship. Barkley said no. He wanted to beat them. Just think about this. If Charles Barkley would have went to the Bulls probably would have never lost a game. Remember, they were 70-something to 9. No, 10. The Bulls probably would have never lost a game if they had Charles Barkley. Barkley would have been playing the 4, or Barkley could have played the 5. Or if they could have got Dennis Rodman and Barkley, they could have. Because if Barkley would have said yes, they could have still got Dennis Rodman. And just imagine, even though Barkley and Dennis Rodman didn't like each other, but just imagine them two on the team. I think they will play with each other, though. They would never lost a game. Nobody would have been talking about that damn fucking Gold State team. Just imagine Barkley and Rodman on the same team that led the league in rebounding. And only thing you have is Jordan and Scottie Pippen. Pippen was averaging over, I think, 5 rebounds a game. No, 6 rebounds a game, and Jordan was averaging over 5. Just imagine. And Jordan was averaging like 36 a game, and Pippen was averaging 16. And then you only needed a center. Luke Longley would have been a center. But see, Luke Longley wouldn't have to play that much defense. Because you had Charles Barkley, you would have had Rodman could have played the 4. He wouldn't have to shoot. He only do guard. And you know Pippen could have played Pippen could play the 4. Rodman could have played the center, and Barkley could have played the 4. And Pippen could have played the 3. Then you got Jordan and you got Ron Harper. That would have been, man, that team would never lost. And Barkley almost was on the Bulls. And he was almost on the Lakers too, back when Barkley was about to get traded to the Lakers from the Sixers. But the Sixers voided the trade, and Barkley was mad as shit. So he would have been playing with Magic Johnson. But see, Barkley could have went to Jordan, and that could have been Barkley's championship. But people would have hated on Jordan too. Like, oh yeah, Charles Barkley. He had a super team. Look at the Rockets. The Rockets had a super team. The Rockets were old. They couldn't even get past the second round. They couldn't even get past the conference finals. When did they win a championship? When did Houston win a championship with Scottie Pippen and Charles Barkley? I want to know. And when did Portland win a championship with Scottie Pippen? I want to know. But people want to talk about, oh, Jordan didn't win. Yeah, Pippen didn't win. Barkley didn't win. A lot of the players that went to other teams didn't win. Sean Kemp didn't win. A lot of them players that were older didn't win championship. Probably only David Robinson's the only one that probably won. And probably A.K.A. Because A.K.A. was playing, we got a better team. We had Clyde Drexler. And then, what's his name was winning a championship because he had Duncan. And he had a younger Duncan. And he won a championship the second year. Well, I think after Jordan retired. So I don't get it. I really don't understand. People just today, they don't do their history. Like they just want to just come at a player just because they don't like the player. You should just I see if you respect the player. Because like I said, I'm not a fan of LeBron, but I don't hate LeBron. I don't like LeBron as a basketball player. I'm not a fan. And I respect LeBron's game. It's just that's how he plays. He's one-dimensional. He's a one-dimensional player. But he could dominate the game if he really wants to, if he puts his mind to it. But I think half of the time he doesn't even care anymore because he makes so much money and he's about to retire. All that he wants to do is keep points on the board. He wants to keep his legacy by people telling him he has longevity and has all these points. And I'm like, this motherfucker has not won an MVP in almost 11 years. And he hasn't been finals MVP ever since what? Ever since 2020? That's crazy to call him the GOAT. Jordan won MVP, 6 times? In a row? The only person that did that, I think it was, the only person that did that was, I think Bill Russell. That's crazy, man. He was on the defensive team 9 times. First defensive team. And as a rookie, he was on I think he was third defensive team, and he was sixth. I think he was third in the league in scoring when he was a rookie. But he still made the All-Star game, and he still made Rookie of the Year. That's crazy for a man that LeBron never made the All-Star game, and he never made the playoffs his first year. He was Rookie of the Year though because he beat out Carmelo, which Carmelo should have won that year because he averaged more points than LeBron. but he didn't win MVP. That's sad. To take something from some player, I think Carmelo was way better than LeBron, but he never got a chance to because they blackballed him. And to me, Carmelo really was a dominant player in that post. They didn't like the way Carmelo was playing. They hated the way Carmelo played. Kobe didn't care. Kobe's like, I like the way he plays. He plays physical. He put that butt on you, you're done. He put that butt and that hip on you, you're done. But because LeBron couldn't even guard him. LeBron hated guarding Carmelo because he always used ass and hips. And LeBron hated guard. And I believe LeBron probably said something to the league like, look, you gotta make Carmelo change his game. He's too physical. And he changed his game because Carmelo started shooting threes. He started getting further and further away from the paint. And like, why is Carmelo getting so far away from the paint? Because they told him, get out of the paint. We don't like you playing physical down there. And I really believe that Carmelo one day is going to say that. They told him to get out of the paint. Because Carmelo lived in the paint. He was one of the most dominant big men in the league. They couldn't stop Carmelo. Now all of a sudden, this motherfucker going to the 3-point line shooting threes. It kept shooting jumpers. I'm like, Carmelo, that's not Carmelo's game. Carmelo can shoot, but his game is the paint. Because you started getting further and further away from the paint. Now I said, that's some fucked up shit. And they blackballed him. Because they knew that Carmelo was better than LeBron. They knew that Carmelo was going to be better than LeBron. That's why they put him all through this controversy. That's why they picked with him. That's why they went through this thing with his wife. And that's why you see Kevin Garnett saying this negative stuff about his wife, because that was all a setup. To get in his head so he can get bad and he can start swinging. That was a setup because they wanted to get Carmelo out of the league. And they had to find a way. So guess what? He had to fight with his coach. And they didn't like that, so they suspended Carmelo. And Carmelo started going downhill. He started not doing and producing like he used to. And his percentage of shooting went down. Then he went over there to LA to win a championship. It didn't happen. He was that close to winning a championship. Never happened. And I felt sorry for Carmelo. Because Carmelo is one of my favorite players in the NBA. I love Carmelo. He reminded me of Charles Barkley back then. It hurt to see Carmelo go downhill. From being one of the greatest players to, damn, what if? And they did that to McGrady. They did that to Penny. They did that to a lot of players, man. They tried to do that to Shaq. They tried to do it to Kobe. When they had all that controversy with him over there in Colorado. They tried to tear them down because they didn't want them to be superstars. So when they saw that now we could make them superstars, these players were already done. They were already a little bit older. Yes, Shaq was dominating. Kobe was doing his thing. McGrady was doing his thing. And other players were doing their thing. But you could tell that they wasn't the same player. You knew that they were going to go get hurt or their legacy is going to drop. And that's what happened. Everybody's talking about what Kobe was. If Kobe didn't start off older, he didn't start in his third or fourth year, what if he would have done when he started his rookie year? What the coach didn't allow him to start, which I believe the NBA told them, don't let him start. Because Kobe would have been the best player in the league around that time. But they didn't want Kobe to be the best player in the league. They wanted Shaq to be the best player in the league. So Shaq was dominating, but Kobe was coming off the bench. And you could tell that Kobe was getting frustrated. He's like, damn, I want to come out here and play. And then they let Kobe play. And Kobe was showing his stuff, but they still were trying to keep Kobe on the bench. And then when Kobe got better, then they started saying, you know what? We're going to let him play. Then they let him play. You see what Kobe can do. And then Shaq and him got a little confrontation, which I think that was made up for Shaq to leave and see if Kobe can win by himself. And Kobe struggled for 6 years. And then Kobe got his chance by getting Paul Gasol, which people hate on Paul Gasol so damn much because they believe Paul Gasol was an all-star. He is, but he's not a top 75 player. So LeBron James, not LeBron, my fault. They had Paul Gasol and Kobe, but he got Paul Gasol. It was wrong. But when Dwayne Wade had Shaq, nobody could say nothing. They didn't have no animosity towards Shaq having Dwayne Wade, but they always attacked Kobe for having Paul Gasol. Why do people care? Why do people care about Kobe getting Paul Gasol? And he had Andrew Bynum. And he had Ron Harper. And he had Derek Fisher. He had Robert Horry. He had a lot of good players. He had a lot of good role players. Like they want to talk about Robert. This is my last thing. I'm off this thing. I'm talking about Robert Horry. I'm sick and tired of people talking about Robert Horry. He won 7 titles and he's better than everybody. Well, how's he better than everybody if you have Bill Russell that won 11, which he could have won 12, but he was sick that when they played against the Sixers in the finals and they ended up losing to the Sixers. And Wilt, not my fault, not the Sixers, losing to the Lakers. And Wilt won the second championship. And that's funny. How is it that you got 11, you got 7, but they won't put Wilt, they won't put Will Russell in the top 5, but they'll put LeBron James and Robert Ord. I'm like, you put LeBron James, he's 4-6, and you got Bill Russell that's 11-1, and you have Michael Jordan 6-0. You have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 6-2. You have Magic Johnson that's 5-2. Then you have Kobe. No, my fault. 5-2, and you have Kobe at 5-2. So why don't they have them? Why is LeBron up there at 4-6? Well, you got the other players that won more titles, but they want to talk about Bill. They want to talk about Bill Russell against Michael Jordan. Well, he won 11. Jordan only won 6 because Jordan didn't lose a final. That's the reason why they say he's better. Not better than Bill Russell. He won 6 titles and didn't lose none. So Bill Russell lost a title. So when you take that away from somebody, that it's not nothing wrong with that. He's still up there in the top 5 players of all time. Really, the top 2. It should be Michael Jordan and Bill Russell. But they don't want to do that. They want to put this player up there because they believe that player has more accolades. He doesn't have more accolades than Jordan. Jordan has more accolades than LeBron. And if you really put Bill Russell in the era of Jordan, you don't know what Bill Russell would have done. Because we would never know, because they don't want to rest in peace to Bill Russell, but we'll never rest in peace to Wilt Chamberlain. We'll never know what these players would have done if they would have played basketball in any other era. We just try to pretend to think that these players will do this again. Like we'll put LeBron in the past. I said, stop putting LeBron in the past. LeBron James is made for this era. He's not made for the 90s. He's not made to play in the 90s. He's not. His size and everything, that don't mean shit. He's still not going to play in the 90s because it's more physical. He's made for this era because this era is not physical. I mean, and plus it's a flopper. Everybody will talk about, well, you got floppers back into, yeah, we did. We had floppers, but the flopper didn't start until like the mid 90s. Because Lonnie Divac was the best at it. But to put him back in the 90s, LeBron James had to start all over again by training his body against physicality. And he's not going to just jump up and be physical to everybody. He's not going to do it because he had to train his body. He don't have to train his body to be physical in this era. All they do is lift weights to be faster than everybody. Because people say, well, they hold on to it. I said, you don't see a lot of bigger players in this era. You see a lot of, they say a lot of athletic players. I'm not athletes. So what about the 90s? They didn't have no athletes back then? Sean Kemp, all the great dunkers that we had back in the 90s, the players that actually were dunking on motherfuckers, like, nobody forgot all about them. People didn't forget about the players that actually were point guards. They were actual point guards. They're actually two guards, actually small forwards, power forward centers. Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, all of them standing in the lane, and you have to go through them to get to the basket. I mean, like, I'm trying to figure that out. But people want to just cut them out and throw them in the trash can and say, oh, these players are more physical. I'm trying to figure out, just because you play on a 3-point line playing defense, you got to come over and you got to help. That's not defense. They call it help defense in this era today, where you can help play off somebody off the ball. When the ball comes in, you come and help. That's all you do. You don't come and try to block a shot or anything like that. You just come and help so you can get this way so they can pass the ball. That's help defense. We don't want to see help defense. We want to see somebody come out of nowhere, and how Patrick Ewing was doing in that championship game, goaltending a billion times. That's what we want to see, because that's basketball. But this era, and everybody else will tell me I'm wrong. Get over it. I'm get over it. I don't care anymore about what these kids say. This makes me mad that people are still. If you don't want me to be a fan of, you want me to be a fan of this basketball era, which I never will be, because I don't respect the players of today. because all they care about is money, and they only care about social media. They don't care about the game anymore. And a lot of people think that's good, and I think that's bad because fans pay their hard-earned money to go and see these games, to see these players, and these players are arrogant and they stuck up, and they all they care about is their podcast. They don't care about the fans that paid their money to come and see them, and it's kind of bad because you got a lot of younger kids are going to grow up and do the same motherfucking thing to their fans when they have fans when they get older. And a lot of the NBA fans are really not going to go to games anymore. They're really not having. They're not selling out games like they used to. They're not selling out the finals. They said the finals last year was one of the worst finals ever. That when it came to production and products and shit like that, they were bad. Just like the NBA of 2 years ago or 3 years ago when they had the Celtics in the when they had the Celtics in the Golden State Warriors, it was so bad. Like, why would I watch a game that somebody shoot threes every time they come down court? It was bad. And the Celtics were in their first finals in a long fucking time. And they played terrible. This finals, they played a lot better, of course, but they still was taking bad shots. But this is the NBA today. This is the culture today. My generation, I believe sometimes they're brainwashed and thinking that you gotta follow these kids and what these kids do. And like we never had a pass. We want to just put our pass in the toilet and let these kids talk about their players. And like we never had dominant great players in football, basketball, golf, tennis, and all of them. Like we never had dominant players. It's like we're gonna let them say, "Oh, this player's better than your player. This player's better than your player." Like you never even seen these motherfucking players. You wasn't even born. So how to? Well, I watched them on YouTube. Well, you watched them on YouTube. How long you watch them on YouTube? For like 5 seconds? That's what you do. These kids don't watch and try to try to do a little history on these players and see what these players. Oh, they were alcoholics. They were drunks. Of course, they played basketball during the 80s. You know, drugs and alcohol was very, very popular back then. Basketball players were doing coke like it was nothing. Basketball players used to come to the game high. It was a guy named Mookie Blaylock. He used to play for the Gold State Warriors. No, the Gold State Warriors. No, the Nuggets. Used to play for the Nuggets. He used to play with Matumbo. This boy used to come to the game drunk. He used to play the game drunk. Matumbo used to tell him, "You need to drink some water because you smell like alcohol." He played the game. He played really good drunk too. He led the league in steals. I think 3 times. But he was a drunk. He was a drug addict and a drunk. You know what I mean? And that's what basketball was. Basketball, not just basketball, football, all sports were in the drug business. You know what I mean? And even and sometimes probably in the other businesses that they had. But that's how they made their money. It's sad. It's sad that the NBA and the NFL today are not doing drug testing like they're supposed to. And it's crazy that drug testing is supposed to be the biggest thing in these sports, even in wrestling and many other sports. They're not doing drug testing. They don't want their players to get in trouble, especially if these guys are doing all different types of different types of pills and shit. They don't want the players to get in trouble. I understand it. They're worth millions or billions of dollars for these players to be not high, but they can hide it by using different types of stuff to get the stuff out their system. But it's fucking up the league because we don't know who the hell we saw these basketball players got all these muscles. And like where do you get I know they're not going to the gym lifting weights like that. They're not. They're not lifting heavy like they used to do in the past. They don't lift heavy. I mean, these players are like I see their exercise regimen. They're not lifting heavy. They're doing regular exercises, like doing like light exercises because they don't want to pull no muscles to tear anything. So that's why they won't lift heavy. So how did Curry have muscles? How did what's his name? Everybody hates his ass. He played for the Sixers. Oh, I forgot his name. How did he get muscles? How these players? How LeBron stay healthy this long and have a body like that? And it's not even because he lift weights. You got people saying these things, and it really makes me mad. You're gonna call somebody the GOAT that's cheating the game. If he's cheating the game, and they find out years from now, like they did with Barry Bonds and all of them, and Kaseko, and all of them talking about doing steroids, they took them out the Hall of Fame. So what are they going to do to fucking LeBron? If they find out that he actually did steroids, are they going to take him out the Hall of Fame? Are they going to take the records from him? No, they're not going to do that because they want this man to be better than Michael Jordan. And it's sad. They got you cheat the game to try to be better than somebody else. If you're the GOAT, you don't have to cheat the game. And if he's cheating the game, I feel sorry for these young fans. Because I'm not going to say that we never had players that cheated the game. But at least when they got caught, what can they do about it? Yeah, they went to court. Yeah, they say they didn't do drugs and all that kind of stuff, but it was court in their system. They were found it out when they did drug tests. They Barry Bonds says to this day that he never did a steroid in his life. He was just a natural hitter. Canseco even said he never did steroids. Everybody know that motherfucker did some type of shit. Because he was an alcoholic. So I know that when you have these players today, they have to do something to keep their bodies the way they are. They have to. And the NBA is promoting it in a way that the fans don't know anything about it. And we'll never know anything about what they're doing in the NBA because it's always going to be kept secret until somebody come out with a book. And I believe somebody's going to come out about a book about LeBron. And it's going to be a book about him using like when they had when Jordan came out with the Jordan rules, everybody was into that book and everybody hated that book. So when they come out with the Jordan the LeBron rules, they're going to say, oh well, he did this and that. People are going to have a heart attack if they learn that he did steroids. But everybody knows he does. And I'm not saying it's wrong, but if you tell that you're doing it, and say, look, I did a little bit of this, I did a little bit of that, because I wanted to get an edge. Because some people take medication that has steroid in it. I'm taking a steroid. I'm taking a medication to take a steroid in it. I mean, he could have like, oh, I'm taking a steroid because I got medication problems. No, this motherfucker actually doing that shit. And you got other people saying that he does, but they want to sweep that shit under the rug so he could be better than Jordan. That is sickening. That's sickening. You should not be doing that in the end. You should not be doing that in any league. It's unfair. It's unfair to the kids that really love this man and think this man is a GOAT. And they find out that he did steroids. And now everybody's going to be hurt. They say, damn, we wanted him to be better than Jordan. Now they got to pick LeBron's son being the next Jordan. Because he cheated the game. That's not good. You see all them other athletes that try to keep it out of the Olympics. But when you got it in America, they want to keep it here. And they say we keep steroids here in the Olympics. We keep the steroids here in the United States. Nobody's going to find out. We're just going to keep it a secret. That's why I believe the NBA is keeping that shit a secret. And I don't think it's just LeBron doing it. I think it's a lot of other players that are doing it too, that are in the NBA. And if I see Wemby ever get muscles, like you saw with fucking what's his name, Acapulco, Giannis. When Giannis was a crayon, he looked so skinny and he got so big like that. That's kind of weird. Because you see these players get big so fast. And it doesn't happen. Even when players played in the past, their players were natural sizes. Yeah, they'll get muscles because they were naturally big. But they wouldn't, go out there and try to say, I need to use this to get bigger. I'm not saying every athlete didn't use because you had some weightlifters that used, you had some bicyclists that used. Yes, they did. But the one thing about it is that a lot of the athletes didn't use. They were all natural. Barkley and all of them were all natural. No, because they shaved their head. Well, then when they shaved their heads because they were going bald. See, at least Jordan shaved his head when he went bald. LeBron won't shave his head. Barkley shaved his head. Well, Barkley wasn't going bald. Barkley had hair. He just didn't like his hair on his head. But LeBron, he won't shave his hair because he got all that fucking shit that goes on when you use your hair fall out. I mean, that's a shame. And he gets cramp all the time. When you use steroids, you cramp. See, I tell you that. You cramp when you use steroids. I don't use the high percentage of steroids, but when you use steroids, period, it's still bad for your body. It's still bad for your bones. You have to use supplements to take with steroids. And if you don't take the steroids to use steroids, it actually can damage your bones. It can actually damage your eyesight. It can actually give you osteoporosis. These medications they can make you impotent. These steroids don't joke. And if you don't take it, you could actually have a stroke from not taking it or a heart attack because you got to get eased off of that stuff. You just can't jump off a steroid. You got to ease yourself off of it because it can kill you. And that's what it can do. People really think steroids is this, oh, it ain't that dangerous. Are you fucking serious? Lyles Alzado. I can go through all the other players that died from using steroids, man. The boy that was the weightlifter that died of a heart attack, he was on steroids. He was a real famous weightlifter. What's his name? The other black airlifter. He had a heart attack and he was using steroids. He ended up in the hospital. He lost all his weight. And he went back to the gym. The only thing that's skinny on him is his legs. But he went back to the gym and started lifting weights again. But he knew that he can't do it as much because he still had heart issues after he had that first heart attack. And that's for him to use steroids. Steroids ain't no joke. And even a little bit of steroids can actually damage your organs, your kidneys, your liver. It can do anything. And people say, well, you're not using that much. But it can, I read about my the steroid I use. That shit, it will damage me if I lose. They say even when you stop using it, your body will be damaged from it because your body needs it. You just can't get off of something and think your body's not gonna. Your body's still gonna want that because it's so used to taking it. I'm so used to taking the steroid. My body's so used to it. It always wants it. That's why my body be hurting. My back goes all pain, like tighten up. These basketball players, you don't know what the fuck they go through once they get off the court. They be fucking jumping right in that cold water shit. I just want more people to understand basketball today the product is crap. You know, the product doesn't make any money anymore. It's not making any money anymore like it used to be back in the past. And that's what making people really distance themselves, even from football. People are distancing themselves from football from all these new rule changes and this ballet football that they're putting in. Like they're trying to protect players, which players get paid millions of dollars to catch a football. But you're afraid that they're going to get hurt. That's the game. I keep telling you, football wasn't created for you to be tagging each other and, playing 1, 2, 3 hold. Football is a physical game. You're going to get concussions. You're going to get broken legs. You're going to get broken arms. You're going to get a broken neck. That's football. You can't change it to be a ballet game and think people are going to continue watching it knowing people love physicality. People thinking that physicality is not exciting for people to see somebody get hit over the middle. Why are you taking that away? Oh, because we're trying to protect. That is bullshit. These players get paid. They got great insurance. They get great doctors. These players be on the field next year. You got players. You had Adrian Peterson tore his knee apart. They fixed that joint up. He played a whole year, led the league in rushing, almost broke the 2001. Then you have my boy about to come back. My boy Chubb, he coming back, and he had his leg backwards, and he's coming back this year. He's not playing in the preseason, but they say he might come back, and he will come back. You got these great doctors. Concussions are part of the game. You're going to get a concussion every time you play football. You're not going to stop a concussion. You're going to get one because when you hit somebody with your helmet, you're going to see spots in front of your eyes, or you're going to see your eyes rattle because you're hitting somebody. And I said, people will say, well, it's not like this. I said, football is football. You get injured yourself playing flag football, get a concussion. You can play fucking football on the street, run into a car, run into somebody's elbow. You know what I mean? Get concussion. You can play field football. When you throw the football up in the air and you grab it and you run, you can get a concussion. There's plenty of times when I played, I saw spots in front of my eyes. It's terrible, but you keep playing. You don't want to get nobody take your spot because you got a concussion. Your head hurting you, you're dizzy, you feel like your brain about to pop out your head, your eyes all hurting the back of your eyes and shit because you might have a little things going on back there, but you keep playing. But I don't get paid. I never got paid to play football. These people get paid millions of fucking dollars to have great insurance. And the league makes sure these players are getting healthy so they can continue to play for their team. The owners are not going to say, oh, well, he hurt. We got to get rid of him. No, the player, if it's a star, he's going to make sure that star come back. They're going to do everything in their power to fix that man's leg or fix that man's arm. And like, what's his name? The one that had the heart attack. He's playing in the NFL, knowing that he can have another heart attack. Look at Bronny. Bronny had a heart attack. He can play. He can have a heart attack again. But he's still playing. And nobody's bitching. But they bitching about concussions. But that motherfucker had a heart attack. Heart attacks are different than concussions. And this man had a heart attack, came back a year later and played. And then you had Bronny. He's playing in the NBA. He had a heart attack like almost a couple of months ago. And he's playing. He's playing like he's playing better. And this is a young boy that had a heart attack. But they don't talk about that though. See, one thing about it is to me, when you're playing sports and you're getting paid, you should pay for the sport that you're playing. You shouldn't be trying to soften up the sport because it's not fair that it's supposed to be a gladiator sport. If you know that had the gladiators back then, and they talk about, oh, we're not gonna be physical in this game. We're not gonna use knives and swords. We're just gonna wrestle. Do you think the people in the stadium, the gladiator of the Coliseum, will sit there and be excited that they're wrestling, knowing that they were killing each other with knives and swords, and they had bears and lions coming out there and alligators eating you, or you had to fight lions and shit? Oh no, we're not doing that no more. You know what we're going to do? We're going to have wrestling every night. Do you think that they would? You think the people at the Coliseum would come to the Coliseum to watch that shit? No, they want to see some killing. They want to see some people get cut up. They want to see some lions eating somebody. That was the sport of that time and that era. They used to fill the Coliseum up with water and bring ships in there and have battles on ships. That was the Coliseum. That was sports. They don't have that anymore. And not just that, they don't have the physicality of sports anymore because they're saying these players are worth more than a sport. I said, are you serious? So you telling me millions of dollars of players, $1 million players cannot go back to the past and play like they played, like they did in football, they did in hockey, they did in baseball and basketball? No, they got to play this little touchy little game that makes everybody like, damn, man, this game's boring. You see people leaving the stadium early. That's how boring the game gets. I see people leaving the football stadium, leaving the basketball stadium because the game is boring. Who wants to watch a game where players go back and forth, shooting threes? Who wants to watch a game when the player catches the ball and the defender got to raise up from hitting that man across the middle so he won't get fined or ejected from the game or get suspended? And fans are like waiting for that big hit. Oh, you got to change your shoulder. Nobody's going to do that shit, yo. Nobody's going to change the position. They were taught this. 100 years you've been taught the same thing of tackling. Use your shoulder. That's how you tackle. You use your shoulder and you wrap. That's how you look up when you're tackling. That's what I was taught. I don't know how these young men are being taught today. Oh, just don't just try to hit them on the side. Try to hit them on the side of under your shoulder. Come on, man, you running 100 miles an hour about to hit a guy. You got to turn your body this way so somebody can hit you in your shoulder. No, that's not basketball. That's not football. Football is a physical sport, man. It's been a physical sport for over 103 years. And they're changing the game for money. They think the people love this. And a lot of fans are saying they don't love football. The way football has been changed. Basketball, all these sports. Yeah, you got some people that like it. They say, oh, they got to protect their players. They got to protect their product. Man, that's bullshit. Protecting their product. It's not even about protecting your product, but the product is getting paid a lot of money. So you're going to protect your product and make the fans leave the game and not be interested in the game anymore. So the game is not physical. Because the fan want to see some physicality. They want to see some hitting. They want to see something that's going to be, ooh, ah. They don't want to be like, oh, man, he got a penalty, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, or the receiver, defensive receiver. Nobody want to see that bullshit. Roughing the passer. Number 92, the defense, hit him below the knees, which he didn't hit him below the knees because they don't know how to call roughing the passer. They don't know how to call illegal hit across the middle. They don't know how to do that. Now you can't use your top of your helmet to hit anybody now. They're changing the rules for nothing. They're taking away what football was really about. Now you got these linebackers coming in a hole and trying to put their shoulder in the player, but they can't do it because if a defensive player is offensive player putting his head down, they'll call illegal hit to the head. So a linebacker can't fill the hole no more and use his helmet. He got to keep his head up. So the running back can run his head right into his chest. That's not football. Football wasn't taught like that. Like I said, I wasn't taught like that. If I'm in the lane, if I'm seeing a receiver catch that ball, I'm supposed to put my shoulder into his shoulder. Now he put his head down, that's his fault. Because he's trying to cover up the football and he's trying to avoid the big hit by curling up his body. That's his fault. It's not my fault. I'm going to hit him and I'm going to try to jar the ball out. That's what we were taught. If the hit the head, if my helmet hits his helmet, it's not on purpose. It's way he put his head down. And I can't control myself if I'm coming from a distance, from a half a field away, coming full speed, I'm going to hit him where his body is turned towards me. Now, he put his head down, my helmet hit his helmet, that's his fault. He get concussion, that's his fault. But I'm trying to make the play so I can jar the ball out. I'm going to hit him any which way, even if he has the ball in his hand and I hit him, they will call the defensive receiver. No, I'm a safety. I'm a corner. I'm a linebacker. I'm a defensive player. I'm allowed to hit my mark. They're changing it to take away the marks of where I'm supposed to hit him. Because a receiver is not really, honestly, it's not supposed to jump in the middle of the field. That's his fault. It's your quarterback is the one that's trying to get you killed. You got these quarterbacks throwing these high-ass passes, and the receiver got to jump for it. What do you think a defensive back going to do? He won't let you catch the ball? No. We were taught to hit. We were taught to go to our target. Our target is the receiver. Now, if the ball is lower, my target is the football. I won't hit you. I'll probably go after the football. But I'm hitting you and the football. But they'll say defensive receiver, man. The NFL is trash. And I love the NFL. But it's becoming a skirt league. And one day, when it becomes that, a lot of fans are going to walk away. A lot of fans will be like, damn, this game is not what it used to be. It's not because we don't love the game. We just miss what the game used to be. And we should try to at least try to bring it back. You know, but we don't have no old heads. We got all these young coaches and, you know, coming out of college, and they're teaching their way of playing football in college. Pro football is becoming a college game, just like the NBA is becoming a college game or becoming the Olympics. And it's sad because it used to be so much fun to turn on your TV and see that NFL logo or that NBA logo come up on NBC or Channel 29 or Fox or Channel 3. You know, it used to be so great to see that. Now we got to watch games on Peacock. We got to watch games on these other channels. And now you got these games that are not even interesting to watch because these teams being blown out. You know, it's just not fun anymore. Can't wait to the 49ers play the Dallas Cowboys, or the Eagles play the Cowboys, the Giants play, you know, or the Pittsburgh Steelers play against the Raiders, or Baltimore Colts. Used to be fun to watch that. I don't watch the game like it's boring. Then you like, damn, they pass the ball too much. Why are they going to run? They don't run the ball anymore. There's no physicality on defense. Defenses are looking at each other and like, yo, man, I can't hit him. You know what I mean? Like, they catch the ball over the middle, the receiver catches it and runs, and you see the coach on the sideline, why do you make a tackle? I can't tackle. I'm gonna get a penalty. You know what I mean? Defensive players' tackles are down. You know, their sacks are down. People used to get like 20 sacks a game. Now you see people get like 14, 15 sacks because of the roughing the passer. Really takes a lot of these sacks away from players. A lot of defensive hitting is taking a lot of tackles away from these players. So they're not getting the recognition on defense like the offense is getting recognition for catching the damn ball. Just imagine that a lot of these players played in the past. They would not have a career for a long period of time. These players would have been knocked out. These penalties would not even match with the game today because the penalties in the past, you would never got no penalty. You would have been across that middle, you would have been knocked the fuck out. If you ran up the middle, you're going to be knocked out. Receiver on the sideline, that safety going to come and knock you out. Ronnie Lott. I can go on and on with a lot of players that will knock you the fuck out. And even in the early 2000s or the mid 2000s, and Palomalu and all of them, like knocking you out. They don't do that no more. Because football in the past was something that people were dying to see. They'll fill stadiums up when it's like 20 degrees or 20 below outside to watch a football game. When they used to go to Green Bay and watch football games and be excited of football. I mean, sit there for hours, like cheer. They'll be there before the game even fucking starts. They'll be there probably at 5 in the morning doing tailgating. Some of the motherfuckers won't even go into the game. They'll be outside watching the game, tailgating. And that's what the fun used to be when we watched football. It wasn't just a football game, it was a tailgating. The food, the atmosphere of all the people out, cheerleaders taking pictures with you. You see the owner walking around, shaking hands. That was the fun of tailgating. You really don't see that much of tailgating like that as it used to be. They still got tailgating. But people rather go to tailgating than they go to the game. Because the game is not exciting like it used to be. Because people couldn't wait to get into that stadium and watch their team. Now we got a lot of wannabe fans and shit that jump on bandwagons because the team wins. We don't have diehard fans like we used to. We used to have diehard fans that ride and die for their fucking team. Don't matter if they lost. They were 0-16 like the Detroit Lions was. They would ride for that team. Or they'll wear a paper bag over their head. But they still love their team because they wanted them to win. Not these teams that down Detroit Lions is good. Everybody likes Detroit. Because that really is funny. Or when Dallas Cowboys started winning games, people starting to like the Cowboys. Because they're not ride or die people. They're bandwagon jumpers. And back in the day, they wouldn't ride with people. If you were a bandwagon jumper, you would stay over there. You wouldn't be able to be a fan with us. If we know you were a bandwagon jumper, jumping team to team to team, you would stay over there. Today, people can jump on teams anytime they fucking want. Because they play a lot of this, that betting shit. Betting messed up the game of football. Betting messed up sports. Because back in the day, they didn't have gambling. You wasn't allowed to gamble. Now, sports is a big, major gambling. That's why I think a lot of games are rigged. Because of gambling. And it's shitty because you don't need that in sports. Because people say they want to win money, of course, but that's why you got the fucking casinos. But, it's gambling for horses. Yeah, gambling on horses is different. Because you're not gambling on human beings playing sports. You're gambling on animals. Animals are the ones that you're gambling on. Even dog racing. They're gambling on animals. They're not gambling on people. That's the reason why they didn't want gambling in the NBA. Now they got it in college. Which they were trying to keep gambling out of college. But they brought it into college. And they brought it into the NBA. They brought it into the NFL. And they messed up the game. That's the reason why they don't want people hitting each other and knocking out all these good players. Because the good players make the money. When Tom Brady tore his knee up, they put a penalty on defensive players after he tore his knee up. They put a penalty on the defensive line. And it was wrong. And even Brady said it was wrong. He said they didn't have to put a penalty out for me. He said, I think that was wrong that they did that. Brady hates that they don't play physical in the NFL. He hates it. He said the NFL is so easy. He thought that it was so easy for him to play in the NFL because nobody could do anything to him. Nobody could touch his receivers. He said it was so easy to play in the NFL. He said after he tore his knee up and they changed the rules and they started changing the rules when he's in the league, he started knowing the game was a lot easier. That's why Brady didn't get hurt after that. And he said, I hate the NFL and what they did to the NFL. He probably want to say that when he's on Fox. I know Brady's going to say some shit. And people are going to be really shocked at what Brady's going to say. Because I know Brady's going to talk about the NFL like a dog. He's going to talk about the physicality of the game. Brady is like that. Brady doesn't care. And that's why I like it. I'm glad he's an analyst. He is going to be better than Romo. Everybody like Romo, but I think Brady's going to be better than Romo. And I think Brady's going to have, like, he's going to be another. I believe Brady's going to be next Madden because Brady knows the game. Brady knows everything about football. He knows the ins and outs about everything. I can't wait to listen to him because he's going to be the next Madden. Now, I don't like that they have 3 people because I think because he's starting, they want to get him used to the box. So they got another person with him, and they got the boy that tells the game. But I think Brady is going to be by himself one day with the announcer, with the head announcer, and I think Brady's going to be the next Madden because he got a lot of energy, and I know he's ready. Because I like Romo, but Romo to me is a little racist, and Romo doesn't say people's names right a lot, but Romo's a great analyst, but he's going to be matched up with Brady, and that's going to be kind of, even though it's going to be good because you got 2 great analysts with the sport, but I think Brady's going to be better, and I can't wait to see him because I've already seen him already doing one football game, not the whole game, but he talked on one game. I think he did it for a little bit, and he was talking about, I think it was halftime. What was it? I think it was it was a college football game. Brady did a college football game for he was there for like a few minutes, and he was just they made him analyze the game. That motherfucker was going like, man, they need to play some freaking defense. I'm like, see, he already talking about playing defense. He said they gotta stop playing soft. Yeah, I can't wait to Brady get online. I can't wait to Brady be an announcer. That motherfucker's gonna kill it. He gonna kill it. But let me get off this thing. I mean, God bless everybody. I know I got 0 views because you know why I got 0 views? Because TikTok, because Recall took me off of it. Because when you start talking about LeBron on YouTube, they don't like that. YouTube don't like that when you talk about LeBron. They don't like that. People made a lot of videos about LeBron, and they had their videos taken down because they were talking about LeBron. I ain't talking about LeBron in a negative way anyway. So, I'm just saying the truth. If you two want to take this video down, it's cool. Want to give me 0 views? Cool, but I never had this. I don't understand this. But it's cool though. I mean, God bless everybody. I hope everybody have a great day, great night, whatever you are across the country, around the world. I mean, get ready for football. Football starts in 3 weeks. The last preseason game is on Sunday. So getting ready for my Eagles to play their first game in Brazil. So, or I don't know, it's real London. I don't know. They're playing out of the country all the damn time. It's not going to be the only game that's going to be out of the country. So they play against Green Bay. It's going to be a real good game. I like Love. I think Love is a good quarterback. A lot of people don't like Love. I like Love. I think he's a good quarterback. He reminds me of Rodgers a little bit. When Rodgers first started, when he first started in the league, a lot of people say that Rodgers wasn't going to be better than Favre, and he proved everybody wrong. And I think Love could do the same thing. I don't think he's not going to be better. He's not going to be better than Rodgers. Hell no. I just think that he's going to play well. I think he'll get him further. I think he'll get them to the Super Bowl. I believe he'll get Green Bay to the Super Bowl one day because he has the talent to do it. Because they almost got to the Super Bowl last year. So if Love stays healthy, or they don't blackball him, or try to destroy his career, because he never had sorry to say this, he never had a black quarterback. In Green Bay that was a starter. So that's all I can say. I'm hoping that he does well, and I think he will do well. And and I'll make a video about the NFL this year about each team. Try to get my boy to be on here with me so we can talk football, but he doesn't want to. So I'll try to get my boy Sean to do it. He's a little hyper, but I think he could do football talk. We'll get my other boy and Julius on here, but he wants to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, so I don't want to put him on here. So I might have somebody on here with me one day talking about the sports in general, football, basketball season starting pretty soon. Hockey is already in, it's probably start. I think it started already. Um, the three major sports is coming out. So two major sports. Women's basketball already started. So um, I don't know how it is basketball. Women's basketball was over not that long ago, and it's starting again. But God bless everybody. Peace. 0-0.